Apologies. This is the third video. Second one got lost because my phone's a hoe. We're talking to Young Guru. We're pontificating about opinions, facts, science, music, taste, art. And don't mind me, in the midst of all this, I got hungry. I didn't eat all day today. Now I'm about to eat something that's going to upset my stomach. Let's talk about it. So if you hear that noise, mind your business. I want to see if Guru pops back on. He may or may not. If he don't, I'll just talk to somebody else for a minute, and then I'm out because it's late. That's pretty good. Yeah, but it's always fun to get like people to go 3 a.m. with me. There's very few people who dare to go 3 a.m. So I'm grateful. Trevon, what's good, bro? We'll see what's going on in a minute. He might have went to sleep already. He might not want to pontificate as long as I do. We kind of back. I'm eating. My bad. I don't mean to chew in y'all faces. Let's turn that camera around, homegirl. Go ahead and turn that thing around real quick. I saw some people saying to me when me and Guru was talking, it was like, yo, they were saying some wild shit to me. And I was like, bro, I'm not just talking. I went ahead and did it. I'm not just talking about the shit. I'm just saying, like, that's I pontificated it into existence. And I just want the new viewers to know that. Like, I'm not, a lot of people's like, well, who are you, bro? You need to listen. I'm like, bro, I'm listening. I'm listening very closely. I love that dude. He put me on a lot of shit. It is what it is. But as for me, I kind of know what I'm talking about. Just a little bit. And the Most High willing, I live long enough to really know what I'm talking about. But until then, let's pontificate. Requested. There he is. I am not eating the fourth meal. This is my first meal. Let's talk about it. I haven't eaten since Spicy Sundays. I had a donut today and some water. Hate to see it. Y'all niggas need to be honest. Y'all just want Young Guru to say hi to you. What's good, man?
Nah, it's late for you. It's not late for me. What is it? 1:30 over there.
It's not late. My phone just died on me. It didn't even give me a warning.
Mine did the same thing earlier. Same thing. All right, I missed. Where was we at?
You're going into 3 a.m. with me. We're at 1:55. You're walking down the 3 a.m. road. You're going down the 3 a.m. road with me. We stopped at 1:55. We're talking about how you're saying like I was leading you down into the outer limits. That's all.
No, all good. But I hope you got my point of what I was trying to say.
Yeah, like I said, I'm definitely open to the challenge of doing better or being more factual. I just need better examples so I can learn from the examples. I can't learn from it in the abstract way. That's all.
All right, cool. I'll be very specific. If there's something in the future, I'm not the person again, I'm not sitting watching Spicy Sundays trying to peak it. So I didn't take I don't think that way. I like Spicy Sunday. I like to be in the conversation. I like the discourse. Yeah, I like all that shit. So it wasn't me being like, yo, let me write down what's wrong. If it was something so whack, I wouldn't. My way of going is just to not watch. I would unfollow you, and I'd be like, all right, well, I'm just not watching it. I watch something else.
I got you. But if it's a point of contention, I want to fix it. Is what I'm saying. Like so, it's like it's not you. I saw someone in the chat earlier, man. When you said that, he said, yeah, MG, you do be reaching sometimes. And I asked him, well, like, give me an example of when I was reaching, and then he couldn't answer it. He just said, well, time usually tells, and you usually be on point. I was like, but you just contradicted what I can fix. Don't say to me that I can be better, and then don't tell me what I can be better at. Like, you know what I mean? It's confusing to me. To me, it's like I get that. I'm not doing that in jest. I'm like, bro, I don't see it. Obviously, I don't see it. So I need, like, show me a crystal clear example, and then I gotta go inside myself and see how I can, be better, because I want to be better.
Okay, I get it. I got you. I got you from here on out, brother. I got you. I'll make specific points. You know what I'm saying? Like what specific. Internet is not agreeing with us tonight.
Internet don't want us to be great.
Somebody said Groove don't want to give up the tapes. What are you talking about? Give up the tapes. I don't get that one. All right, I'm gonna start reading these comments.
They're like Groove, tell Jay-Z to rap again. They be saying some wild stuff, bro.
That part of it is weird to me. I don't get that. So it is what
it is. You know.
No, I like MG. People don't read. I could literally post something and be like, I'm in the studio working on this, and they're like, oh, Jay-Z's making. I'm like, I just told you I'm in here with Hit Boy and Benny. Like, the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Oh, shout out Terry Hunter in here. DJ Terry Hunter. Foundational DJ, brother. Chicago,
Awesome.
what's up?
Shout out to him. He said Mercury's in retrograde. Not only is Mercury in retrograde, but Mars was at its highest bullshit too. So you got the war energy and you got retrograde. So this all makes sense to me.
Yeah. You know who Terry Hunter is? You know who he is?
I might have to do my Carfax. I might be familiar, but not right off top, no. Yeah,
man. Foundational in terms of house music in Chicago, man. Yeah, definitely look him up, brother. He's one of the originals.
Awesome. Then he know the Burrell brothers then. Cool. So I'll follow Terry and see what he's about.
Yeah. Super dope DJ, man. Oh, he said yes, sir, to whoever I guess to whoever you just said. All right, I'm making sure I ain't cut off the conversation. I think
you did. No, you didn't. We were joking about cut and how like science has a way of how science can make assumptions, but there's a consensus about it. And when I'm saying what the way that I kind of internalize those type of things that we're calling facts is that they shift too much to be facts.
Okay. I would counter and say this, that that is the one place though where you get to say, okay, this is my assumption by the mere fact of calling it a theory, and then you go about trying to prove that thing. And if we disprove one of those things, science is one of those places where we easily correct it. You know what I'm saying? Like, meaning, unless there's like some political, which all of life has political shit, right? The example I was using before of when it's proven that Newton's theories are not complete. I won't say Newton was wrong, but they weren't complete. They don't take into account everything, right? That's why Einstein died trying to put together this theory of everything, right? Where we have what I call above ground or macro, you know what I mean? And then when we go inwards and we get to quantum physics, quantum mechanics, right? But we do adjust. You see what I'm saying? We now work off of E equals MC squared, no matter how much the Germans wanted to keep it their way. You know what I'm saying? Like, no matter what, it's just like we at some point are going to correct it. So I think that's the thing with science, where it's just like other things that assume facts, when they're shown that they're wrong, live on those wrongs. They're like, nah, fuck that. It is the way it is. This is how it is, and we're not changing it.
That makes sense. I kind of treat my life that way. You know, I throw out a whole bunch of hypotheses about things going on, and you know, every few years I adjust to new information for sure. And I think maybe we get to a point where we need more information, and sometimes we're not permitted to have information. So you got to do the best with what you got. So what I started doing is saying, maybe I try not to be so absolute in values, because the law of polarity almost forbids it. Maybe the word I started using was consensus. Like, there is a consensus that we could refer to. So like there's a filibuster. You know what I mean? Like, I think 2 + 2 is 3. I think 2 + 2 is 4. Let's bring out, you know, the McGraw-Hill and show you what 2 + 2 is. And I think what's important about having that, and what you're saying is so that we don't waste so much time pontificating about 2 + 2, and we can move on to bigger and better problems.
Exactly.
So I'm with that 100%. Yeah. but I kind of, you know, I've Guru, when my father-in-law died, do you know that a bird came out of my wall?
What do you mean out of the wall?
I will tell you this story. I'll creep you out real quick. So he's from Puerto Rico, right? There's two things that happened when he died. He died a really freak car accident, kind of shit. Rest in peace. And that earlier that day, I saw a butterfly in October. Matter of fact, he died 4 years ago today. So that's why it's fresh on my mind. And I was sitting at work smoking outside, and I saw a monarch butterfly. That bitch was about it was about 1 feet big. Like, it was a big ass monarch, bro. And when it flew past me, I was like, where the fuck did this monarch butterfly come from by itself? And why is it here? It's like 50 degrees outside. Where'd she come from? And but it bookmarked it. I bookmarked that moment. Like, why the fuck is that here, right? It freaked me out. Got home, found out he died, etc., etc. And the next day, two things happened. I found out years later that his mother in Puerto Rico said that he had came to her house in the middle of the night, and she went in the living room and she said, "What are you doing here?" He said, "You know, I'm just here. I'm just going to go to sleep. I just wanted to see you. We'll talk in the morning. Go back to bed." She woke up the next morning. He wasn't there. Of course he wasn't there. He's not in Puerto Rico. He's here. He's here with us. That next day, my girl's processing that. And we're talking, and I'm trying to cheer her up, although that's a dummy mission. And I hear a rattling in my wall, like a scratch. The rattling was coming out of the wall by the chimney. So there's no way anything can get into that wall from the ceiling or the chimney. It's like there's a chimney, and then there's the wall, that firewall. So it's scratching, and on that wall, there's a wall outlet, like for a cable or something. So my girl wants to be Braveheart, and she wanted to unscrew it to see what the fuck it was. You know, I'm thinking it's a mouse or a rat. I'm like, yo, don't even fucking do that. If it's a mouse or a rat, it's gonna find its way out. But it kept scratching. We undid it, opened it just a little bit, and a fucking tropical bird jumped out. It's a yellow bird with black wings and this thing on its face. It jumped out of our wall. We opened up our back door. It flew around our living room and went out the house. Never seen that bird again. So I say that to say, it's hard. It's very difficult for me with an unlimited amount of those freak experiences to even begin to, like, I don't even think we scratched the surface of what the fuck we talking about, bro. I don't think there's facts. I don't.
Yeah, but there are, though, MG, and at the same time that there can be facts, there can also be an acknowledgement that we don't know everything. I think that is the thing that makes a real scientist or a real engineer perk up, right? Where there's a problem to be solved, where there's things you don't know, where you have to go out of the immediate things that I have in my circle. How can I create this thing? You understand what I'm saying? And we also meaning like this, like people at Bell Labs had to put their minds together and go, okay, out of all the shit that we got sitting in here, what can we use to make this thing that we're going to eventually call a transistor? You know what I'm saying? If somebody goes, okay, well, there are no facts and there is no science and we can't be sure about certain things, that would have never been made. We wouldn't have modern computing. We wouldn't have the televisions, computers we have. We wouldn't have half the shit that we have, right? Because of the fact that it is built on science and it is built on...
It's built on, but it's built on a very large margin of error, though.
Yeah, no. Listen to what I'm saying. The scientist also knows the thing that I think a lot of other people just assume.
Okay.
The scientist knows that that's not the only way to make a transistor. That's just what these men did at Bell Labs, and it became accepted as the way.
Yeah, and that's what I'm calling consensus.
That's what, and so that it's not the only way to make a transistor. You see what I'm saying? But we get to a certain point of you read the guy Jared Lanier. Are you aware who Jared Lanier is?
I'm not.
Definitely look him up. He's dude, long dreads. He was early with the internet, especially back when they was doing like the Xanadu model of, you're familiar with that, right? Like that sort of thing. He has a lot of stuff out. He has great books. You Are Not a Gadget is something you should definitely get. Who Owns the Future? It's
Okay.
something you should get.
That's
Definitely
what,
get.
that's what I'll probably get that one first.
Yeah, no. He's super dope. He's on this like, yo, get rid of your social media shit right now, because he goes through the thing of like they're just siphoning off all your information. That's not the point. Jared Lanier talks about this thing called lock-in code, which means that if you write something as a code and it's at the bottom and you start to build all this stuff on top of it, it becomes a point where now you can't change this bottom thing, whether or not it's the best thing or not. If you were to change this, you got to start all over again.
That's America right now.
Yeah, just listen to what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you that there's a certain amount of lock-in code when you go, okay, these people, I'm using the transistor again as an example. There's a certain amount of things that we built based off that transistor. But me, through knowing the whole history of it, and can sit there and go, okay, there's something that works. I love Bell Labs, right? Anybody that knows me, follow me, I completely like read not just the history of what they did. I know it like very intimately, all the players that were involved, right? Which also allows me to know that Bell Labs is a product of America and what was going on at that time. So guess what that means? In Bell Labs, there's no women, there's no black people, and there's no Jewish people. Back then. I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about back then when all of this stuff was being developed. In New Jersey, by the way, right? Mm-hmm. The laboratory was in New Jersey. So imagine how different that could have been if those groups were involved. But it was America at that time. We not in there. You see what I'm saying? Nobody's saying that those things are the end all be all, that they can't be done better. It's the it's the thing where in Black Panther with the little sisters, like, how many times have I told you just because something works doesn't mean it can't be better?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But sometimes that being better is at a point where the actual reality of doing that would mean to wipe out the whole system. So it's like, okay, we compute with zeros and ones, right?
Yeah.
Is there possibly a better way of computing than a 0 and a 1? Possibly.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? But in order for us to change where we are in the world, everything works off of that. And people are going to go, yo, you know what? It's going to cost me too much as a company to change the whole way that this happens. So we're building on top of this thing.
Yes.
The best thing doesn't always win. Beta was better than VHS. VHS won. That's the point I'm making with science, is what I'm saying. Nobody's sitting here saying it's religious. It's not perfect. It's not claiming to be perfect. It's what we figured out so far. That's it.
I think that it depends on those people and their feedback, though. What the problem I see with it, or what I have a problem with, is that because there's so much money, politics, government, and treaties involved, that I can't even enter it into my zeitgeist as a measure for truth. Because there's too many agendas, bro.
Yeah, but this is what I do, though. This is what I do. So I have a book idea that I've been working on. I got like certain outlines of certain chapters, and it's called The Evil That Men Do, right? Mm-hmm. So it's talking about this very thing. It's talking about the fact that, like, scientists cannot produce things void of the environment that they live in. Mm-hmm. Meaning, if you go throughout history, most of our advances in real, like, dope advances in science is during wartime. Because that's the time when we put money into researching things. Right. And the money that we should be putting in, you know what I mean, mm-hmm. on a daily basis that we normally have for like war and shit like that. When we're at war, we sort of, you know, historically what we've developed during these times. Again, you're talking about, if you read just this one history of Bell Labs, you realize in the 40s, when everybody in all industries and the government was like, no, stop what the fuck you doing and work on this war shit. Yeah. Everybody. We bring the best minds from all over the place to work on this war shit. You see what I'm saying? So we get certain advances depending on where our focus is. So the focus of my book is to be like, yo, the science in and of itself is like money. It's not negative or positive. It's just how the person uses it. Absolutely. So the scientist always has to be aware of the environment. But it's the Andre line where it's just like, oh shit, you just can't quit. So, okay, so being the fact that you know that there's all these agendas, that should make us fight harder. Because otherwise I'm just sitting back and I'm going, yo, you know what? Ain't shit I could do about it. These people got hidden agendas. These people do. Then what are you doing? You just letting that win versus saying, okay, I need to make sure that when people create things that they understand what that is. So if the act of splitting an atom is not positive or negative, it's just an act of getting a lot of energy out of an atom. We could power a city with that shit. You understand what I'm saying? But the first thing we do is drop that bomb on Hiroshima when we figure out how to do it. The dudes in Philadelphia, the Philadelphia experiment is not thinking they about to kill a bunch of people. You see what I'm saying? Anything can be taken and corrupted. It doesn't mean that you don't fight or that you don't create things or that you don't, you know what I mean? Like, you have to look at it from that standpoint. So we now more than ever, we need to understand these things, especially with like the shit that Elon Musk is doing, the shit that other people are doing, you know what I'm saying, in terms of going into outer space. You know what I mean? That shit bothers me about the privatization of what is about to happen. And it's not like, people are going to look at it years from now and be like, damn, how do people even think that they can own shit in space? You see what I'm saying? But it's not. But if you look at the natural progression of what happened, and I'm not getting into like Obama on how people feel about him. I'm saying certain decisions were made, right? Us as a government funding all this money into NASA, right? After a certain amount of years, people like, well, that was groundbreaking when you went to the moon, but what have you done for me lately? What's the new groundbreaking shit? And why am I keep giving you all this money? Right? So then Obama goes, yo, you know what? All this money that's sitting over here going to NASA, the people need this money. I need to move this money over here. And that's what he did. He removed that money to say, I'm giving it to the people. So what did that also do? He put himself in a space where he said, you know what? Private need to deal with that. If y'all want to deal with sending rockets and shit to the moon, let private come. And you know what the private company said? Word? Bet, because we're going to own the out. You know, like that type of shit. You're not supposed to own that. The things that Elon Musk is doing right now with the trying to put the nano shits in everybody's brain, right? That research of I want to wirelessly connect to the internet with my brain, so that me and you can have a conversation over the internet, and this is our human form of telepathy, right? He's literally working on this shit right now, like right now, right? So it's the same thing as saying like, no, we can't fly, but we made a way of flying for humans. We made planes. Right?
Facts.
No, we don't have telepathy that we know of or know how to control yet, right? But he's creating this thing of saying, if I put this in your brain, then you're going to wirelessly connect it. But of course, if you're looking at that from a human greed standpoint, and as filthy and as nasty as certain people are in terms of their power control, then all of us that have been looking at these things forever and watching sci-fi is like, whoa, hold on. Now we're going to get the real Manchurian candidate. Now, I don't trust you and what you're going to put into my brain. It's not about that I don't like the technology. I don't trust you and what you're going to do with it.
Right.
You see you know what I'm saying? That's why the book is called The Evil That Men Do. And it's supposed to show that like science in and of itself is not the evil thing. It's what people do with it. Yes. And what the agenda is. And if you're not aware of agendas and like what people are trying to do, then you have to. This is why Tesla was like, yo, you know what? At a certain point, after he had dealt enough with J.P. Morgan, after he had dealt enough with like people just trying to defame him, and like you're actually doing you're actually up here killing fucking monkeys and cows and shit to try to get people to not use my energy. He started going in his later writing, you know what? It's a lot of shit that I could create right now that I'm not, because y'all not ready for it. Period. He knew. He like, yo, this is, we talking about Tesla. You know what I'm saying? Like he knew. It's not the actual science. It's just you have to be aware. And I'm saying I'd rather fight than to just sit back, because guess what? Elon Musk is going to do what he's going to make this shit.
Nice. He's going to do whatever he wants to do. Yeah.
He's got the money now. You know, and it's not just him. I don't want to just point out him. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's doing it. Bezos is doing it too. You know what I mean? Everybody's doing. Amazon is going. These companies are going to get so big that they're going to get into shit that's not their basic. Amazon is not about delivering books no more.
Right.
You, you understand what I'm saying? Like how big this company has gotten now to where it can just get into anything and fund anything and buy anything. So
Yeah.
it's the fight that you have to make the awareness of what people are using and doing with the science. And then once you're aware of that, then you can set things in place and say, no, this person can't do this. You're not allowed to do this. I felt like if people were more educated, then we wouldn't have patents on life. That should be illegal. You know what I'm saying? Like those sort of things that happened because people are ignorant to the fact that bacteria is life.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that little thing of the bacteria being life and someone creating the bacteria to eat oil after a BP oil spill was the thing that allowed the first person to get a patent on life, which then will take us all the way to Monsanto's owning their own form of cow, which should be illegal.
Loopholes. Yeah.
You gave the one person the patent on life. Now Monsanto's is saying, nah, I'm gonna own my own.
Cows. Yeah,
this is the Monsanto's pig.
Mm-hmm.
They've already done it with the trees.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not the Human Genome Project fault that they want to map all the genes. It's what somebody going to do with that information.
Oh yeah.
Once it's, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's the point.
Do you feel like this has all been done before?
Could have been. But it depends on time and what you say. All of this, like, so let's be realistic. We're dealing with what we consider to be this 2,000-year Christian era, right? That's what we're in. We're in the 2,000-year Christian era right this second. A scientist is going to go, you know what? He's going to ask natural questions. He's going to go, yo, how old is the Earth? How old is the universe? Then why are we saying it's the year 2000? But it's very specific. We dropped the part that explains that. It's in the year of our Lord is the part that we dropped. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like, okay, I have no idea what is going on 75,000 years ago on this, or, you know, I do have an idea, but I'm saying I don't know where human beings were at that given moment. You understand what I'm saying? There have been plenty of extinction level event things. You know, 75,000 years ago, us as human beings, we almost didn't make
it. Yes. I'm familiar with that narrative. Yeah.
The volcanoes erupting, like all that shit spreading across the earth. We've had an ice age. We've had a bunch of shit that like could have wiped us the fuck out.
Recently too, 1800s as well. Yeah.
Right. A bunch of stuff like that. I'm saying to you that if you look at the space of time, 2,000 years is like this compared to 1,000,000 years, and we're talking about billions. I don't think people really understand what 1 billion is when you're talking about in terms of time.
I don't even think they could put a number on it. I think that shit's capped.
No, but this is just okay. Now we're getting into theories and things that we can't prove, right? But if we do our same thing of, as you know, what's the famous thing? As above, so below, right? And we also look at the nature of the universe. This shit is constantly expanding, contracting, expanded, contraction, expanded, contraction. That's life. If you don't expand and contract, you're dead. Basically, yes. Meaning breathing. If you don't,
our universe is breathing.
Exactly. So if that happens over a long period of time, right, we may not see the movement. Like, we don't really feel the movement, but the universe is expanding. It doesn't mean it can't contract back again and do it all over.
We have motion because it's snapping in and out of the light or the particles. They're snapping in and out of this dimension so fast. They generalize what they think the frame rate is. Basically, our existence has a frame rate, like not just even picked up by our brain, but the actual, you know, the electron level. There's a frame rate, and that shit's like
that's like. Does that? I'm asking the question of, does that amaze you? Of course, that is the way it is, or else, like, we have all those examples in every other part of the things that we accept. We accept that there are frequencies that we can only hear from 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz, right? We know that there are frequencies on both sides. We utilize the frequencies on both sides. You know what I'm saying? We created radio. That's something we can't just innately hear. We created microwaves. That's something we can't innately hear. Like, but we know that those frequencies exist. So there's only certain things that we, because of the vehicle that we're on, can tap into. We can't see air, but we know it's there. We can feel it.
Right.
We know the effect of it. You see what I'm saying? So no, it's not about that. For me, it's just like, yo, but this is my reality. This is what this time period, me being alive right now in my senses, this is what we can realize.
Yes.
And that's all I'm saying. It shouldn't be a surprise to people when it's like, yo, yeah, of course you're not picking up on every single thing, because your body your body can't receive it. Your senses can't sense those things. It's not difficult. It's dog whistles is a perfect example of that. You can't hear it.
I think maybe that's by design. I agree with the sentiment, but I don't think it's because you can't. Maybe it's just because we don't know how, or we forgot how. And I've been coming across, you know,
or that too. But until somebody can teach you, this is what you're dealing with. I'm not saying that people weren't more, people could have been way more in tune. People, all of that. I'm dealing with my reality.
Have you seen the cities that we're sitting on top of? Have you seen those pictures yet?
No, I haven't seen them.
If you get a chance, a really interesting. I don't think science is going to touch it yet. Matter of fact, it kind of alarms me that no one from officialdom has touched it at all. Like, no one's debunking it, no one's supporting it, no one's talking about it. But look up the subject called mud flood when you get a chance.
No, I'm just writing down that exact word on my notes. Yeah.
That's how it's classified. Check it. You go ahead and get lost in mud flood for a minute, just so you can see the photography of the cities we're sitting on top of.
The first thing calls it a conspiracy.
It has to. It has to. It ain't fun unless they call it that.
Yeah.
But I just want you to check out the pictures.
All right, I bookmarked it.
Yeah, like even more pictures. Like, so what happened is they'll be in like Romania or something. Mm-hmm. And you know how like in Florida, the fucking ground just falls and niggas like fall into the abyss? Mm-hmm. Like people be in their bedroom and they just fall into the ground and shit. Well, that behavior is picking up because with our weather changes in Romania, France, like all these places in Europe, when that happens, mm-hmm. there's a temple right under their street. Like if you see the hill in their backyard of the house, mm-hmm. that hill is the part of the temple. So you know that hill, you can guess how old, the grass or the hill is on top of that temple, mm-hmm. and it ain't that old. And you look at the architecture and the design, mm-hmm. it's the same influence in all of these vast places. But more importantly and more scary is that they're in America.
Okay.
So what it'll start to do is make you realize that, wait a minute, if you lie to me, right? If you lie to me and say these buildings are 500 years old, you just messed up, because now you're saying an architect of that skill was in America. If you tell me it's recent, you're telling me that something really terrible happened recently in America. Like they can't. There's no narrative for it. They can't even. Okay. Remember what you were saying about that lot code?
Yeah.
Buildings and this architecture is the lot code. Whatever situation they set up to hide these or just build on top of these, as soon as this stuff start falling apart, it's a paradigm shift. Like, bro, what are you talking about? With teepees and Indians and motherfucking, nomads. No, nigga, look at these temples. Like, these are everywhere. Like, they're everywhere, bro. Like we did this before. It would offends me. Not only did we did it before, but we did it better. So
no, I'm not. Yeah. My question becomes why does it surprise you? Like, why does it surprise people that when they find out things like this, like, okay, like we obviously know. When you really say, yo, Columbus didn't discover nothing, right? What are you really saying? Are you saying it to tell them that, or are you actually like saying to yourself, I'm aware that full societies was going on way before you got here. A lot of people was here. We were here. You understand? Like that thing doesn't surprise me.
I brought up mud flood because I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about evidence of advanced civilization. So it's more so about the technology that would have been required for these fixtures. These ain't like, you know, us 500 years ago with 500 years ago technology, horse and buggy could have did that. This is like within the last 500 years, something more advanced than today did it. And that's freaky.
Again, it's not freaky to me, MG. If I look at history and I go, yo, we went through a whole time period where you go around the world, and we call this shit the Dark Ages, where the ruling people was like, no, nobody can read. That's illegal. If I catch you reading, I'm killing you. Like, if we go about making, ignorance the law of the land and wiping out certain things, then of course you're going to, you know what I'm saying? Of course. So then you have to start all over again and start. That's what I'm saying. You're rediscovering things based off of this paradigm. You see what I'm saying? You start erasing the things that are that, like, literally erase. That's why I keep bringing up like Library of Alexandria and all that other stuff. No, burn that shit the fuck down now. All of it. Scrolls in there. Every number of stuff was probably lost in there. How much information and things was already figured out. How much, like, that's why it's not a surprise to me. This was purposely done. Like, purposely done.
No. But do you envision those people like us, or do you envision that we're more advanced socially than them? I think maybe that's what I'm getting at.
No. I make a distinction between being civilized and being advanced. You understand what I'm saying? I make a distinction between that. And let me say the reason why. Because, again, it goes back to my transistor thing. They could have been doing something that's completely something that we didn't figure out. Mm-hmm. Completely. It just so happens that when we figured it out, it happened this way. It could have happened a different way for them. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Like, it could have been a completely different way. Or it's like when people started getting into the actual thing of the pyramids and started realizing, like, okay, this is not just it's not just a tomb. Like, this is where the energy was. This is Con Ed, actually. You know what I'm saying? Like, the shit is Con Ed. This is where our energy come from. This is where we focus shit. This is where it's Con Ed. It gives power to the whole shit. You see what I'm saying? Like, but like we don't get our power that way. You see what I mean? We had somebody come through and try to, like, be like, yo, actually, the way that you do this power thing is wrong. And we see what happened to him. What happens when Tesla builds the thing in Queens? That ain't even no secret. That's something that in our lifetime that was photographed. So Tesla builds this thing and goes, yo, okay, free energy for everyone. We could have cell phones back then, by the way. Back then.
If you follow that rabbit hole of mud flood, you'll come across some of that too.
Yeah. You very natural for people to figure out frequencies, right? But you got to deal with the fact that JP Morgan was like, nah, what? You giving it away for? I sell that, homie. That's what's going to make me who I am. I'm selling that. It doesn't mean that that's like saying, yo, we just got the cell. I'm like, nah, Tesla has cell phones been figured out. We could have had free energy. It's the same thing now. It's like, okay, if you really want to get into it, we have all the technology we need right now to put solar panels on everybody's house. Don't nobody got to pay a light bill no more.
Right.
But that's not the reality of what you got to battle against the oil companies. We still burn fossil fuels as our main energy source because there's people that's willing to back their shit up with guns.
And I think what surprises me is that we never needed to do that. Because what's weird when I talk about it, I'm not disconnecting those people from us. That is where we came from,
right?
And I guess what I'm freaked out about is how recent it had to have been. Okay. I'm not talking about a civilization that was uncut 2,000 years ago that was on some dope shit. I'm talking about great grandma.
Information still is going to seep through.
And that's what I'm saying.
No. But I'm agreeing with you. What I'm saying is when you talk about great grandma, there's still remnants of, no matter what, somehow I'm going to retain this information. I'm going to sneak it in a song. I'm going to sneak it in something. I'm going to figure it out. I'm passing down this information somehow to you, right? But we're not even going to get into the like super, because me and you will probably do that, but we're not even going to get into the super thing of like that information is actually written in your DNA.
For
right,
real.
all of the experiences of your people that made you, is that experience is literally written. That's not a mystery. That's not spooky. That's a fact. It's written in your DNA, right? So it's not. That's what I'm saying. It's not weird to me, but and also because I know what happened. If I purposely go to the world, get down or lay down. It's that simple. Get down or lay down. You're either going to accept this thing that we say, or we're going to kill you. Get down or lay down, so that we can run the world. And people, some people didn't, some people did. People fought wars. People, they willing to back their shit up.
Trash.
But that's the point.
That's trash, man. That's tragic.
What happened?
That's tragic.
It's what happened. And you also not gonna, with the point you making, MG, you're not gonna just take over the whole world like really fast.
No.
You understand what I'm saying? This was over a certain amount of time. It used to boggle, the main question used to boggle my mind when people would say the thing about the sun never set on the British Empire. And I'd be like, yo, how did half of this fucking island take over the world, yo? Because you warned with the motherfuckers on top of you. They the G's and was like, nah, we not folding. So the
yeah,
Scottish was like, no, we not folding.
You having satellite wars in other countries and no one ran up on your castle.
You said what?
you having satellite wars, like you're fighting your neighbor over here, but your neighbor didn't just run up on you at home. Like, I don't know, bro. Them boys was wild, whoever they were. Them boys was wild. Those some wild men, man. For real,
yeah.
for real.
Yeah, but they did it. So we got to deal with the repercussions of what actually happened, and deal with the reality of where we are.
I want to meet them.
Who's them?
The ones who did it.
Long gone though.
Nah, what I'm saying is we don't have that narrative. Like we don't have it unpacked. We don't pivot off of that narrative in a realistic way. Like
explain what you're saying. I don't understand what you're saying.
So to use all that energy to do that and then just disappear off the planet doesn't make sense to me.
No. You misunderstand what I'm saying then. I'm saying that these generational things that were done, let's go back to the 400 years, right? Let's just say during that time period. Yeah. Those people themselves are not around. The system of which they set up and the beneficiaries, which are their children, yes, they're here. But I'm saying the actual people who did it, and then I'm one of those people who I don't like saying they, them. I like to give somebody a name. I like to figure out, because they, them creates boogeymen. Mm-hmm. When you be like they, them, the man, that's not a real person that you could fight. It's an idea. So you're in essence fighting the boogeyman.
Yeah, I want to meet them. I want to meet whoever contains or memorializes that legacy. I want to know who they are.
I don't understand I don't understand what you're saying. So you don't think like, okay, that's like saying I want to meet a Rothschild because of what the great grandfather did. The ones that's walking around right here didn't do what he did. They just the beneficiary of it.
But it wasn't just one.
No, you know what I mean? Bro, I'm not saying. I'm saying
no. I'm not saying you're saying that. I'm saying like whatever brought them together to do it together, whatever that legacy is. I want to meet them. I want to know who they are. Like because I'm Words Connect. I would like to observe them and be like, what was it about your DNA and their DNA? What is that?
I don't know if it's a DNA thing. I think it's a difference in mentality. You ever read this book, Yurugu? Should get that one too. Yurugu's dope, bro. You should definitely get that. It's called Yurugu, and it's an African-centered critique of European thought.
Guru, the tricky part is the really tricky part European is just a nationality. We don't know who they were then.
No,
Like,
no. I get what you. No. I absolutely get what you're saying. I'm not. We're not going to argue about nationality. I'm definitely not arguing nationality with a Moor.
No. What I'm saying is, I'm saying that to like, because if an African's critiquing Europeans, I assume they're talking about Caucasians. Are we? I don't know who they are.
Then then you're absolutely right. They're talking about exactly what we're talking about, and I don't
Okay.
want it to spread to all. I'm not saying Caucasian in terms of that. I'm talking about the mentality that would say, "I want to take over the world."
Wow.
That mentality, that exact mentality that goes, yo, this is manifest destiny for me. That's how deep it goes. It's like, no, I am ordained to do this. God is telling, I'm not saying this as my words. I'm saying what the thing, right? The banner that was flown that says manifest destiny tells me that the whole world is mine. All of this is mine because my book tells me that my God gave me power and dominion over this, the animals, everything. All this shit is me. That's what the book said.
Right.
So it creates this mindset of I run this shit. That is what manifest destiny is. So you apply that to the whole world, and that's what you get. So if I'm coming to you, and your mentality is I'm chilling, I'm cool where I'm at, and I come to you with a gun, it's a different situation. You're not trying to take over the world, but this other person is.
It's willpower. I got you. I never met nobody like that.
People that's just greedy and want everything?
Nah, I mean, not just that, but with the ability to do it.
I say it all the time. It is the greatest heist of all time.
Listen, whatever little bit of psychic power I got, I'm going to unlock some more.
Yeah, but it's not. And that's what makes me say, when you say I want to meet them, I'm like, bro, do you know how long it takes for, like, okay, for the Roman Empire to fold into the Catholic Church, to create this whole, like, you know how long that whole thing was? Like, it's not an overnight process.
I was reading a book that was getting at 400 years ago, and it wasn't clear, it wasn't concise enough for me to imagine the series of events.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't assume that energy or those people are gone.
Bro, I'm not. No, and of course not. And what you're saying that when you say those people, I'm saying that the mentality of someone that has been taught that comes up in that is taught from birth, like this is your birthright, right? Yeah. This is the idea of, like, when I ask people again in London, when I go over there and I talk to, like, my brothers and my sisters over there, right? Because I love London, I love the people over there, and I constantly go, yo, what can nobody really tells me, like, when I say, what does the queen really do? Like, what power does she wield? And everybody go, oh, it's a symbol, you know, it's us with our history. And I'm like, well, can she change laws? Can she, like, veto shit? Can she, like, why do y'all, you know what I mean? If y'all have a government and parliament, then what power does the royal family really have? Or is it just a symbol? Or where's their money? Like, I ask all these questions because it's like, it's like, to me, like the last remaining old paradigm that's trying to live in a new paradigm.
Yeah, and what happened to the rest of them? Yeah, and why is it just her? Why is she the last one standing? Yeah.
Well, just that in general, just what the royal family represents in general, right? Is it a symbol, or do they actually wield power?
No, what I'm saying is, if there's one royal family, where are the rest? Why is she the only one that we know about today?
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Because it wasn't just a queen or king of England. There was, like, kings and queens of everything. Where are they now? You know what I mean? So, like,
I think they're the ones that continue to carry on tradition. We have kings and queens all throughout the world that we could trace certain people's, you know, lineage to say that you're from a king or you're from a queen or whatever. But that country itself does not recognize that system anymore. So then it doesn't make it's not even like, who cares? You know what I'm saying? Other than the people saying,
what I'm saying is, who pulled that jug off on the rest of them, but not her?
I just admitted to you that nobody could tell me how the thing really works. Like when I asked, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I was asking the question of literally like, I don't want to say power from influence, right? I'm not saying that that's any man with money in the United States. You got influence, and you know what I'm saying. I'm saying of it that's in that spectrum. Mm-hmm. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying legally.
Yeah.
Right? You're not supposed to, in this country, somebody with a lot of money that's not in our government, they have to go through things. They have to lobby. They gotta, you know, put these guys on planes and get them women and promise them shit and so that you can then vote, because our system says this man or woman has to vote for this thing. Right. It doesn't mean our system isn't corrupt and that we don't have lobbyists, which is like, you know what I mean? That's a whole thing. I'm saying legally in London, what power does the Queen hold? I don't know.
Well, the city of London, which is connected to bankers, and you know the bankers run the whole show, so you know. I mean, maybe she just, you know, maybe she just owed too much money. Maybe the rest of them that we can't find owed too much money. You know, there's a lot to that. But yeah,
but see, that's like the Rothschilds and the Pope. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just like, that was the famous Rothschild quote where he was like, I don't give a shit who the king is. I control the money.
Yeah, I want to meet them. I want to meet those kind of people and see what type of time they're really on. I think it would be beneficial to us to understand why.
Somebody put she doesn't hold any power, just influence. Is that an opinion, or do you know that for real?
I don't know if anyone knows it.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. And I've asked plenty of people, you know what I mean? I got plenty of homies.
That's crazy.
I don't know.
But yeah, man, I'm gonna find them. They're gonna pull up on me soon, or I'm gonna pull up on them soon. I'm gonna figure it out.
I'm saying, why do you want, why? Like, why? What's the, I don't see any purpose or benefit or like what you get out of that. It's just like, I know who you are. You gonna do what you gonna do. I'm gonna fight for what I'm gonna fight for, and then we just get it. We get it on. Like just it is what it is.
I think it's important because we without the context, you know, without the context of what this is and who did it and tracing that properly,
mm-hmm.
you how do you come up with solutions? You don't even know what the problem is, and if you don't know what the problem is, you start by finding out who the problem came from, and then like if I study them, analyze them, then I can go, oh, this, that, and the third makes sense now. This is where I fit into this puzzle. I still don't know where we fit into this puzzle as it is today. It doesn't really make sense too much.
Into what puzzle?
Like if this is like Game of Thrones in a sense, where someone else is running the show, like is our ambitions tied into playing the game and, you know, just being, but really, is it really, like, is that
no you said you saying, I'm sorry so you don't get me. You said, is our ambition in there? No, we don't want to be playing. We don't want to be fighting. We want to be chilling. We want to be like, yo, I'm not about war. I want to chill. I want to have a white picket fence, raise my kid. That's not what we want to do. But guess what? We already are in it. If somebody declares war against you, you're at war. You can't be like, I'm not at war. They already declared war against you. That's the negative part about it. They're coming at you. You're at war.
Right. Yeah.
That's it.
I don't know who they are though. So that's what I'm saying. I want to find them. I want to know who declared war on me. That's all.
I don't know if it's necessary. I think people are very personal when they look at these things and be like, yo, this person hates black people, or this person is trying to do this because they don't like us. No, this shit is about power and control above money. Money is one form of the power or control. But I'm talking about power and control. So it's not you personally. It's just I want to run the show. Yes. So anything that stands in the way of that, I'm going to fight against. And I'm going to lock this shit down so that I run the show. And I'm not giving up that power without a huge fight. You know, it's not really about like, I don't like you. It's not about that. It's about my power.
That's heavy. I think it would be beneficial to us problem solving or adjusting to know where the power is coming from. That's all.
That's that. And again, that's why I said when people do these they, thems, the man statements, I'm like, you are, again, creating a boogeyman that you can't fight against. That's why I said be specific about who and what you're talking about.
I don't know. That's why I need to find them. I need to, what are we, who won? Who, like, if the Queen of England is the only queen that people recognize or that we're conscious of?
I'm not worried about I'm not worried about the Queen of England. I'm more worried about like, okay, our existence and our system that we live in, we live underneath of the fact that we need money, right? Because we don't farm anymore, we don't trade things, we don't do that. We exist in a system of money. That it could be different, but that's the way it is, right? I care less about who the Pope is, and I care more about who controls the money. I guess is the best way for me to put it. I already know what time the Pope is on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We gotta find out who the bankers are. I got you.
We know who they
are. I never met them. I mean, they don't really show.
You want to come to Delaware and meet some DuPonts? That's what you're saying? And I'm not saying that to be smart. I'm saying what do you need to know?
I want to know who's active. I want to know who the active kings and queens of the money is. Yeah, I do.
It's they kids. It's what are you talking about? It's being passed down from generation to generation.
But like, for instance, like if you pass down a house and your kids go, I'm just going to sell the house and I'm going to flip it, they don't have no more power over that land or that house. These people aren't flipping. They're still keeping it. Meaning they're not just the kids. They're playing the game too.
No. What I'm saying is it gets past that. When you say I want to meet them, and I'm saying that, okay, if we get to a point where certain people have a lock on something, right? And us as human beings only live a certain amount of time. We leave our shit to our children, right? We set up institutions, partly to hide behind, but we also set up institutions so that it can exist beyond us. And when I say set up institutions and hide behind them, it's the thing of what the corporation is in this country. You know that as well as anybody, right? Yeah. Of what an actual corporation is, why it's set up, how the corporation is treated as a person in this country, meaning that you sue the corporation instead of suing the person. The corporation pays taxes. The corporation, you know what I mean? Like all of those things. A corporation is treated as a person.
Right.
So meaning, okay, so now I can do my dirt from behind the desk of my corporation. And if the shit hits the fan, you're suing the company. You're not suing me.
Right.
Personally. So you can hide behind that and do shit, but you're doing shit to benefit you. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so that's what I'm saying. It's been, when we say systematic, the word is being thrown around so much right now because we keep saying systematic racism, and all sort of shit. But when you set up a system so that this thing just go, it just go now. It just go. It runs on its own. I'm making sure it's well oiled, but the car is already built. All I gotta do is just keep putting oil in it.
Yeah. I just want to find the mechanics. That's all I'm saying. I want to find the mechanics. I know who the beneficiaries are. Like, for instance, like I'm not looking for like who got all the money. I'm looking for the person who told everybody how much that money hitting for. Because they don't need money. They don't need to print money. They don't need to work. They told you what the money means.
Right.
I don't know who tells them what the money means. I mean, the biggest thing that I've seen is like, it's the IMF. All right, cool. IMF is an organization, corporation, but Who makes sure the IMF stays the IMF? Who makes sure the protocol is the protocol? Who makes sure that if anyone gets out of line, they correct it and hire someone else? Who's that board? I've never seen them named.
There's no see, I don't know. To me, I just think about the World Bank. I think about when that was created. I think about all the things that go around that, and that's sort of giving me
yeah. Like we'll know the World Bank, but we won't know who their chairs are. Like, it's like, so why am I talking like I give you like basically I'm trying to cut the middleman out, right? So like if my politician or my leader or my church guy is like, they only know what they know, and I'm trying to fix a problem, but they only know what they know. How about I go to your manager real quick?
Right.
Now, the manager may not want to speak to me, and that's fair, but I would at least love the opportunity to know who they are and catch them slipping at the airport or catch them slipping at the hotel and give them my mixtape. You know what I mean? Like, has any of our leaders done that? Like, yo, I know you guys are so removed from the social paradigm, but the people you have in charge are klutz. Like,
do you think? Again, I'm asking the question of, if you were to meet one of them, what is the point? Do you think they're going to go, oh, you know what? I just talked to MG. I have a complete change of consciousness of how I'm treating the world. I'm going to change this.
I think they will change my consciousness.
All right.
I might not need them to do anything. I might need to experience, like what helped me with music. I seen it with music. Like when I used to get online and like ask about music theory, people be like, well, you should just get a piano teacher. Or, you go on a website and you look up jazz chords and stuff, right? Like that's a certain way of receiving it. And you could test it out a little bit and get some cool results. But it was different when my boy Tommy D came over and he played in front of me.
Right.
And then I got to ask him, and even if he couldn't explain it, I could see it. And then now that I got the mirror neuron popping, I can go, oh, there's a certain flow, a rhythm, a connect. Now let me work on that. What I'm saying is these people are so far removed from us that I kind of feel like but I feel like our problem solving skills, our negotiation skills are limited because we're not negotiating with the main people. We're dealing with middlemen.
I understand exactly what you're saying. In that scenario, you realize that person, though, is never going to tell you. So if you sit down in front of them at the piano, they're not even going to show you how they play. They're not going to explain to you circles of fifths. You're not going to get any of that.
Okay.
They're not even going to play in front of you because they know you can just watch their hand and then be like, okay, now I got the thing.
Yes.
Why do I need to sit down and play in front of you? For what?
I just like to see it.
No, a lot of people would, is my point. But I'm saying, let's be realistic. Do you actually think like that you would benefit from that? Because they're not going to just give you this thing. It's not a gift thing.
A lot of our people have been trying to come up with some solutions and some good ideas, and we know those are all dead ends. And I guess I'm just at the point in my life where it's like, all right, cool, but so let me at least figure out what the source of the tragedy is. You know what I mean? Like, why not? Like, the question is, why not? Like,
yeah, but I think sometimes here, MG, is where we differ, right? Because I agree with the overall thing of the give a man a fish, he'll eat for the day. Teach him a fish, he'll eat forever. You understand what I'm saying? And you're like, yo, I want to learn how to fish. And I'm like, yo, everybody's hungry right now, so we might have to just give them fish until we figure out how to learn how to fish. So if we constantly go, you know what? That thing is a dead end. That thing is a dead end. We're literally just sitting doing nothing.
Drake said, I heard you ask for the boss, so they sent me, dog.
And I'm
saying,
what I mean?
You know what I mean? Like,
and I'm saying,
I don't know anyone that's asked for the boss yet. That's all I'm saying. Has anyone asked for the boss?
Yeah, a lot of people, bro. Over time, a lot of people have. Yeah. And I'm saying they're not going to just come out and be like, yeah. First of all, it's not one person, right? It's not just like the Wiz, you know what I'm saying, of Oz is up there snapping his finger. No, it's a bunch of people. And what I'm saying is too, is it's not just something of like somebody with this like ill ass master plan. Like that's what we do when we create these conspiracy theories and all these other things. We create boogeymen. These are men that are like, I have the power, and I'm doing everything that I can to make sure that my shit stays the way it is. That's it. I'm willing to kill. I'm willing to fuck up governments. I'm willing to pit you against you. I'm willing to do it. There is no moral base. So I'm willing to do anything.
I'm just gonna summon them. I'm gonna put 2 feathers, 3 candles, and a winter solstice and a full moon. I'm gonna have to see them for myself, because I kind of feel like back in the day, like I noticed with me and my personal experience growing up, like people used to always tell me about how intense or bad something was going to be. Like for instance, like if I messed up and like, you know, the anxiety of waiting to go home to get my ass whooped was usually worse than getting my ass whooped. So we have all this anxious about strategy and solving and negotiating, and not in my life have I seen any person with more experience or leadership skills say, I'm going to the boss. Like, let's talk about it. Well, it's only a conspiracy because we make it the conspiracy by not addressing the elephant in the room. Like, we talk about it and forget about it and pretend like that's not the problem. What I'm saying is, we keep saying, hey, the elephant is the people who actually run the business. And we go, yeah, I heard rumors about them, but I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to try to do this locally. And I'm like, but our problem is the elephant, guys. And that smell, that's the elephant. I've never seen one person talk about the elephant, man. I've seen people talk about white people abstract. I've seen people talk about
I've seen a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people over the years try to really talk about the elephant, what we're calling the elephant. Try to sort of, I don't even want to say expose it, because it's not about the exposing, it's about how to deal with it, right? Yes. I've seen a lot of people do that. Meeting of the Masters was a dope ass thing when that was going on, and the internet kind of fucked up the conscious community, right? Because it turned the conscious community into WWF, which is what I hate, right? When we used to all really build, and you would go somewhere and you would learn some shit. Now it's just WWF on the internet. Like, I'm gonna out debate you, and it's not really about building. It's just about who can debate who better, right? But I can't. I would be remiss if I was to sit here and say that there haven't been a bunch of elders that have like risked their lives to get to like say, or to beg that question. Now, whether or not they, you know what I'm saying? And I'm saying it's not one particular person, it's not one particular system. But there's plenty of people that have been like, no, this is what it is, or this is what at least what it's not.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? So then we can definitely put into, but I think people have different expectations. It's like, okay, it's like today when you was explaining, you was like, yo, this thing about who gets to mismanage the money, right? Because it's like that's what this thing comes down to, right? It's like you have groups that are like, no, I'm the representation of our people. The money should come to me. There's other people like, no, I'm the representation. The money should come to me. You see what I'm saying? Like, so it's that exact same thing. I hope I'm not going all the way deep into what we, you know what I mean? Me and you know what we talk, because you went, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch Spicy Sundays. But that's the point. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's the whole point. I'm not.
So I guess I only have 2 options, right? So like the weird thing is, like with me, I would love to put my mental resources together to bypass the little bit and figure out who they are and what they want and what I can do about it. But my alternative is, since it doesn't seems realistic, I don't know. What is the alternative to not trying to solve the problem?
No, they're not mutually exclusive is what I'm saying. That, I think we just got to the core of what it is. They're not mutually exclusive. So at the same time, that's what I'm saying. If your position is, I don't know, you're saying, I want to do the most effective work. I don't want to run on a treadmill. I want to find out what the problem is, and I want to go handle that problem. And I'm saying, while you're in the process of figuring out, because you're admitting that you don't know exactly what that is,
right? I'm
saying, let's do the other things that we can do that will help people that are starving. So you're gonna have to give them the fish for the day. It's like when we was having this discussion, and I don't like when people are like, oh well, Glue, you talking about this and that and with the voting shit. why would I even deal with that? You know what I'm saying? I already know. And I'm like, yo, when me and you was having this discussion, I was like, you realize that you're not, because you don't fuck with the president, that you just given up who runs your city, like very directly in front of you, who is the district attorney, who is the dog catcher, who runs the school board, who's the, like, you know, I'm giving, you know what I'm saying, all the local things, because somebody's gonna come at me and it doesn't fucking matter. The electoral college, whoever we choose is not really our choice. And I'm like, okay, I agree with you on that. But I also know the local level of these very things that we can take care of. And I can put somebody that's not just gonna lock everybody up. You know what I'm saying? I can put somebody in there that represents me. And then we can fight this fight together. That's the point.
I think it's like I heard a thing. I don't know if it's true or not, right? But I heard it from a reputable source, and they put me onto a concept that was mind-blowing to me. Mm-hmm. If you have beef with a police officer, like real beef, like you you can't call the police on the police, they say bring it to the attention of your local archbishop. Now check this out. Oh, instead of marching and protesting and busting up Target, we should have just arranged a meeting with the local archbishop and find out what that's about.
No, you can't reduce it to that, MG. You can't reduce it.
No, I'm talking about effective problem solving. Like, I want to talk to your boss. I don't want to.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to dance. I don't want to dance. I don't want to vote. I want to talk to your boss. You took one of my people, and if this is your boss that I didn't know was your boss, mm-hmm. I'm gonna talk to your boss. I'm like, listen, boss, we need to handle this person mutually. And maybe I'm not ranked up to have that conversation, but someone in our community is.
Why do you think that? Why do you think that? Because the basic way that any business works, right? You the first person is to sit up here and be like, yo, this is a business. This whole shit is a business, right? This shit is a corporation, right? Correct? This whole shit is a corporation. Yeah. If I own Burger King,
yeah,
I'm not standing at Burger King every day. I'm paying someone to manage Burger King for me.
Absolutely.
I own it. I'm talking about corporate, not the one thing.
Absolutely.
I'm talking about the place that you call and get the packaging and the wrapping and all the stuff that says Burger King. I own corporate Burger King, right? Yeah. Me personally. I'm not standing at the Burger King to deal with, yo, my burger don't taste right. Y'all ain't put enough pickles on this. Deal with the manager for that. That's why we elect the president. He manages the company for 8 years, or is the in-between guy. He don't own it. Big business owns the United States.
I'm with you. And certain people, but we know the businesses. We don't know the people. That's what right. We don't know the managers. Like, so who am I arguing?
Right.
I'm arguing with the employee at the counter.
Why? MD, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Me as the owner of Burger King, I am not going to let you know that I own that Burger King, because when you get upset with your burger, you're supposed to argue with the person who I have managing the place.
I'm with you. And we've been arguing across the counter. And in my lifetime, I have not seen any changes. So I've experienced it in jobs where they did go over the counter, where they did go to corporate. Mm-hmm. I don't know anyone in our community that has complained to corporate. Not so much so that that's going to prove or change anything, but I would love to know what the fuck that conversation sounds like.
Because okay. So let me ask you this question. If we have, let's take our, not even like super deep conspiracy theory shit. Let's take actual shit that we know, right? In our lifetime, in the past couple of years, the one of the last things that really showed us who's who in this country was the housing crisis, right?
Okay.
Meaning that HBO special is titled perfectly, Too Big to Fail.
Okay.
Too big to fail. We now know GE cannot fail. If GE fails, the world fails.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Where if me and you start a business and we don't make any money, then our business is over, right? If we go bankrupt, that's it. That's the end of the business. But there's a business out there. If General Electric fails, then the government is looking like, yo, in 2 weeks, we're not going to have food in the supermarket, and we will, and this shit is going to get turned the fuck out.
Right.
So GE can't fail. Right? what they what's the name was the what was the bear was the only one that caught the shit. It was like, yo, how you letting, that was their argument. How you letting us go, but everybody else gets stuck in a room, and now we got to put First Union in here with so-and-so, and that's why Covia bought that. The government basically put together a matchmaking thing of like the ones that are too big to fail. You buy, y'all is together now. Y'all two is together. This is how the country going to survive. You see, you understand what I'm saying? So yeah. It's not just this. When I'm saying this to say that is not just one person. These are institutions that are run by different people. So everybody's in cahoots with everybody else.
Someone is gaining agreement. You know what I mean? Like there's someone who's giving them that prevents them from mutiny or coups. So there's someone who's.
What do you mean? How would there be a mutiny or a coup? Is what I'm saying.
You're saying that someone told GE and someone else to pair up. What if GE and someone else said, I don't want to pair up, and I'd rather pair up with this person?
No. But what I'm trying to tell you is that again, these well-paid managers don't own the company. You understand? You understand what I'm saying? They're
so who are they afraid of?
Let me finish saying what I'm saying. MG,
so.
let me finish saying what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The reason that they are going to be willing to, they didn't want to do it at first, right? But this is about survival. The government basically said to them, if you don't do this, you're over. You're done. You have to. You understand what I'm saying? Like, because we are going to get to a point where all of y'all could be this, and we could all fail. And if this shit fails, it not only does it fuck up it fucks up the United States economy, which eventually is going to fuck up the world economy. You understand what I mean? We cannot allow this to happen. You got people calling from France and all of, like, yo, how did y'all let this happen?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? By basically like giving people loans that they can't pay back because people was greedy. It's all based off greed. That was the whole housing crisis, was just based off greed. I'm just giving you an example to show you. I'm trying to get to a point to show you the players involved, and it's not so simple as going, yo, this one boogeyman is doing this. No. And you're not going to see the person who really owns it. You're going to see the manager.
So as of now, all I'm saying is I'm not aware of anyone making the inquiry.
Okay, so let me say it to you this way.
Like, because like things don't happen
point,
until you start to, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like if we start making the inquiry or putting our attention or mind on it, we might move certain things in the quantum field that might expose them, so that we can write a letter at the very least. I
write a letter. You think that writing a letter is going to do anything?
No. Check out the symbolism though.
Okay. All right.
You know, if you got our whole community to write 22 million letters and send it to their house, that'd be interesting to me. You know what I'm saying? Who's gonna open up all that mail? What is the postal office?
But MG, we can't even stop buying Gucci for a week, bro.
I think our animus.
We cannot stop buying Gucci for a week.
I think our animus is because we haven't been provided a real solution because we don't know the real problem.
No. I'm saying let's be very clear here. When we say the word we have to understand who we're talking about. Not all of us is we.
Okay, fair.
And I'm talking about.
But interestingly, versus them, we are though.
No. Just of course. But just listen to what I'm saying. When you're talking about this collective thought, everybody doesn't have the same wants and wishes. Everybody doesn't want to go about it the same way. Everybody has a different viewpoint on the way that they even like-minded people that are like, yo, we know what this problem is, right? We get this problem. And it's not so simple as saying, I hate when people do this too. They use the same examples over and over again. I'm about to do it. It's the thing that I hate. But there's a reason why we use the Malcolms and the Martins, you know what I'm saying, as our arguments, because we see y'all both want the same thing, but go about it a different way. There's a reason why we use Du Bois and Booker T, you know what I'm saying? Because we like, okay, y'all both want the same shit, but it's completely different in terms of the way that we're going to get there, right? So there's always these different opinions and these different things. So there is no specific we. There is no specific we. And that's what I'm saying, is like that thing of someone owning a corporation, right? Now that corporation, let's say GE, let's say, you know, I mean, all the people that were involved in the housing crisis, they also have shareholders. You understand what I'm saying? They have shareholders. So it is illegal. It's illegal in this United States for you to do something as the person managing this company that's going to knowingly allow my share to drop. Your job is to make my share go up.
Yeah.
Right? It's part of the hypocrisy of the United States, because we're supposed to be as a company, your goal is to gain as much money for your shareholders, but we cap it and say you can't own 100%. That's a monopoly, and we don't do monopolies in the United States.
Yes.
So it's kind of backwards.
Yeah, it feels like the leverage or the equal distribution of power makes it strong and confusing at the same time. It's strong because you can't just take one person out and reset the board.
Yes, exactly. That's the overall point I'm trying to tell you. So this one thing of like, yo, if I get to this one man and I murk this dude, that's not going to solve it.
So I'm not interested in murking the one person. What I'm interested in doing is identifying, studying them, and then tracing their history, and then I think I'll be able to determine what I want to do from that point. I kind of feel like it's kind of crazy that our environmental factors, like I was telling you about the kid with the 3 colors, I kind of feel like most of these paths that we, you know, kind of niche in or kind of get good at are just, you know, luck of the draw, depending on what kind of card you pull out the deck. I sense there might be a different deck because of the mud flood, because of the technology, because of the UFOs. I kind of feel like if they could do what I think they're doing, there could be like a whole nother party.
Yeah, but what? No, but listen what I'm saying. Again, I'm trying to demystify or not make it spooky, right? So when somebody say to me, yo, what you talking about UFOs? And I'm like, what do you mean? It just means unidentified flying object. That's it. That means the government, whoever is flying some shit, and I don't know what that is. It's unidentified. It could be some shit from outer space. Okay, I just don't know what it is. It's unidentified. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's fine with me. I just don't know what it is, so it's not spooky to me. You understand what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is that the things that I want to deal with, the things that I give you prime example. I got it. You yourself will go, you know what? Fuck that protesting shit. Fuck walking down the street. Fuck these signs. Fuck all that shit. That's what you're going to say. And in my mind, at the same time that I'm with you, where I'm like, yeah, I would like to get to the end result, I'm also out in the protest. I'm communing with the people. I'm like feeling what's going on, like that whole thing. Like I said, I don't feel as though they're mutually exclusive. So
I just hate that it feels like we're targeted into a fixed narrative
response.
about it's like, you know, like with the mouses and stuff, you know, hit the light cheese or hit this get Coke or hit this get Coke. You know, it kind of feels like, you know, it's very Pavlovian, and it's like at some point what I think makes us kind of break or give up or go crazy is like we acknowledge that this isn't changing, but we haven't been allowed or given permission to think of it as a different problem. Like maybe this ain't the problem, you know? And when I'm saying the elephant in the room is the problem, or at least it structured the problem. And if that elephant today is not the elephant from 400 years ago,
slow down. You're losing me. I'm not cutting you off. I'm saying I'm losing clarity on what you're saying. Say it again. I'm losing. You said because it was becoming unclear to me.
So we're just in a loop, right? Like a computer code, right? It's a repeat until, right? The designers of that code allegedly designed it 400, 500 years ago, right? I don't know what happened to them for the past 500 years. So what if I fuck around and find them and they fuck with me? And they be like, you know what? I am not my great, 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 great grandfather. And since somehow you're the first person I've seen that actually figured this out and you wanted to talk to me, I'll listen to this dumb shit you got to say. And I think this is hilarious. Matter of fact, I think it's so hilarious, I'm going to give you $1 billion. Here. You know what I mean? I don't know anyone who's even said that. I haven't.
Yeah, but $1 billion doesn't solve the problem.
I know, but I'm just using that as a catalyst to say that to say that to them it might be different than dealing with the people who set this up. Like
I
they
think
might be the type of.
I think that is a fool's error of like, I'm going to rely
Versus
on.
not looking for them though.
No, 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 no,
Okay.
no,
Okay.
no. Let's be specific. Let's be specific. I'm. There's been great men that have thought that way. Martin Luther King thought that way. As much as I disagree with Martin Luther King, he thought that way. He thought, I'm going to show you how evil this is, and your consciousness is going to make you change.
Okay. Facts.
And I think that that's wrong. I agree with Malcolm in that instance where he said, yo, the reason that that's not going to work is because that person don't have a conscience in the first place. They know very well what they're doing.
But if there's a splinter cell organization, we don't know what the current elephants know. We don't know who they are. That's what I'm saying. We're inheriting. They're inheriting clout. Like, you know, like how I guess their daddy name or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you fucked them up and you stomped them out. Like, what are you talking about? You ain't your dad.
No.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah. But listen to what I'm saying. When you have that institutionalized, right, and what you just hit on is the whole point. Yes, you are inheriting clout through the look how much we talk about lineage. Look how much we talk about lineage. Yes, that's the whole point. I'm setting this up so my kids can run this shit forever. If you and CMP fucking y'all thing becomes the biggest thing on earth, y'all make billions of dollars. Are you going to do everything in your power to make sure that your kids control it and his kids control it? Or are you going to let my kids come in and steal it? Or somebody else down the block kids control it?
Yeah, but the difference is it's mine.
No, regardless, now we're getting into more. I started this by saying you have to remove your moral compass because the other person doesn't have it.
Okay.
We know the history. We know you took it.
No. What I'm saying is but the people I'm looking for didn't take it.
Your family did. Whoever your family is.
But it's just strange that we're not trying to get the updated cliff notes. Like, for instance, Malcolm X's was it Malcolm X's son or grandson that died after he met Gaddafi?
I'm not sure which one it was.
Malcolm X had a grandson who met with Muammar Gaddafi, man. Mm-hmm. And like, he wasn't Malcolm X at all. So it changes, you know. They change per generation. They're not the same. They're not the same breed in that way.
Right,
so
right.
What I'm saying is, like, if I was afraid of Du Bois, or not Du Bois, if I was afraid of LBJ or afraid of Woodrow Wilson or afraid of, you know, whatever the slave master was,
mm-hmm.
But then I go to Walmart and I curse out that same slave master's granddaughter for acting like a meth head. You see what I'm saying? Like, so much time we're assuming that they're their ancestors, just like they assume we're our ancestors in the same kind of respect.
No, I'm not saying that. What I am saying is the argument that when someone comes up to you nowadays and goes, "Yo, I wasn't alive during that time period. I had nothing to do with slavery. Me as a white person in this country, you can't blame me for what happened in slavery times." And we're like, no, we're not blaming you. We're trying to show you how you're the beneficiary of it. You understand what I'm saying? You're the very system is a result of that, and you benefit from that. You understand what I'm saying? Their mentality doesn't have to be that. And even if you were scared of let's say who'd you say, LBJ or like let's say Hoover, the worst of the worst, right? Let's say you get to meet Hoover, you're like, yo, bro, why are you like this? Let's say you don't fuck with Hoover. Let's say you go kill Hoover. That's not going to erase what was going on. Somebody else going to step in that spot and do the exact same thing. If it wasn't Hoover, Bush would have did it. They did it together. It's just that Hoover was the leader at the time. I'm talking about Bush Senior, the real daddy. Not dumb.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they did it together. So you eliminate J. Edgar Hoover, somebody else is going to do it. It's the system itself. I'm not. I mean, you could argue me. Like, that's how
I just want to meet the architect, man. That's all. I'll meet the architect.
But it's no one. You looking at it like it's the Matrix, and like it's like, yo, that one guy that goes, yo, you know what? I built this thing because of this and because of that. No. And let's use that as the perfect example. Even though he built it, there are certain things that he can't understand and that he can't fix and he can't control. Right? What's the problem? The problem is choice. He can't understand why human beings make certain choices that they make. He also wasn't expecting the Oracle to do what she did. You understand what I'm saying? The man still designed it. I'm saying that there's now a system in place where he's not every day like, yo, I got to do this. He already designed the system. The system runs on its own. And then, hold on. And then what you then come to realize, Neo ain't fighting the architect. When he's going to the city and he lays down in the thing, and the thing that he's talking to, the thing that starts buzzing the shit around him and takes on any form and whatever, and the thing that that's not the architect.
No.
That's the mind that's controlling the whole one. You know what I mean? The whole city. And the only reason that he even fucks with Neo is because Neo's like, yo, you can't fuck with homeboy. He's a threat to you. He's a virus. Only I can go in there, and otherwise you're going to die. I'm the only one who could balance this out. And my price for that is peace. Stop fucking with my people. Let everybody go. That's it. Otherwise, we'd have kept doing the same. That's how confident the dude is, the architect is. Nigga, this is the 7th time we getting real good at this shit. He's not scared to tell you what he's doing. He know you can't do that. No matter what. He tells him the whole play. He's like, yo, you walk to this door, this is what's going to happen. You walk to this door, this is what's going to happen. And look at you now. Even with everything I just told you, you can't help it. That emotional onset is coming on, and you about to go try to save this girl, knowing she got to die at some point. That's what I'm saying. It's that system.
Well, they overthrew an existing system, or changed it, or adopted it, or took over an existing system of their time.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that had to start with inquiry, because after all, they call it the Inquisition. So I'm just saying, maybe it's time for us to make our own inquiries. I mean, I don't know what we should do with that, but maybe we need to inquire. Like,
I think this is my personal MG. I think we need to stop just going like these are the existing systems and why we should use this system or that system or that system or that system, and no one's thinking of a new system. You understand what I'm saying? Because and hear me out and understand what I'm saying. Any system in and of itself works. It is the corruption of that system by men, by humans, that fucks it up. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you can theoretically look at socialism and go, yo, if I'm passing out, everybody gets a fair share, nobody's super rich, it also means nobody's super poor. We all live in a great, like, even thing. There's plenty of socialist countries that I go to that are beautiful countries. You don't got no poor people walking around, you don't got no homeless people, but there's also not that American dream of like, yo, I'm gonna just become this billionaire. It doesn't happen in those countries. You know what I'm saying? Like, the system is not.
I do understand. Yeah.
Right? You could look at communism, and if everybody was righteous in that system, it will work. We're gonna pass all the shit down, but that's not human beings. Human beings become greedy, and they like, yo, I want all the power. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But who has all the power? We never identify them. And
no one person has all the power. No one person.
But I don't know any of them. Why am I talking to Pence? Like, fuck Pence. He don't cut his check. Let me talk to your manager, Chief.
Yeah, I'm not saying Pence. I'm just saying in general, those people around the world whose influence and power, like I said, those names are just managers to a certain degree of certain things. That's it. They just manage it versus like the real deal. Like, if this thing go, we all go. The system as we know it goes. That's where you find the power. Period. Not the manager. Like, don't talk to the manager and be like, yo, like, yeah. You're talking about managers.
Yeah,
That's what I was
I'm
using.
trying to go
Mark,
to the
that's what I
boss.
was using.
I'm trying. I'm looking. I just want to know if there's a boss level to this game, because the level I'm on, it doesn't seem to make a difference, whatever my choice is.
And I'm saying if you feel that way and you do nothing, then you've already lost.
I just want to play. I want to play the real game. Is what I'm saying. I want to understand what the real game is. That's all. I'm not. I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to do nothing. I'm trying to do something. I'm just saying on this level, I've observed and read enough to know, like, oh, this is why I'm going mad. This isn't the problem I need to solve. Not me personally.
Okay.
Maybe my mind. I didn't pop up into this dimension to solve a economics problem per se. Although that's so ingrained into who we are and what we do. But I know there's people way sharper with math and numbers than I am who are going to solve that problem if given the ball.
I get what you're saying, but I'm saying that people are forced into that situation. As much as we didn't want to be born into certain shit, we are, and we're in it. So to sit back and do nothing and be like, yo, well, you know what? I don't know who's running Oz, right? I don't know this, and it really is that, right? It's a little small dude back there pulling a bunch of levers. It's not about a physical confrontation. It's a small dude pulling a bunch of levers, right? I get what you're saying, but I'm saying to you that it's not one person. It's not just like, yo, this is this evil guy is back here and he just wants world domination, and it's not that. It's a lot of systems that are in place and people that are playing power moves with each other. And there's you forget there's still war going on the earth, right? People that's like, yeah, fuck that, and I'm willing to die. I'm being dead serious. That's like, no, fuck all that, and I'm willing to die on this principle, and that's the reason why we still have war, because people are willing to die on their principles.
Yeah.
It's just that us over here, we like to watch the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not from here. I'm not from here in that way. Where none of that's what I'm saying. I'm not satisfied with none of that. I don't get it. Like for me, it's kind of like I couldn't. I'd go crazy if I tried to. You know how like you wonder how a person becomes a crackhead on the corner talking to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what I'll turn into if I don't try not to assimilate. If I assimilate, I'll turn into one of those people. I can't assimilate. Like it's just not in my code.
I'm not saying assimilate. I'm saying that you are already in the system. You cannot not be in it. The only way to not be in it is to leave.
We'll leave, but that's what I'm saying. Like, where do I go? When am I leaving? Like, what are
listen to what I'm saying. Let me fully flesh out this idea, right?
Okay.
When I say leave, I'm talking about like, okay, you can look around the world and go, yo, I like this type of system. I like that type of system. I want to live under that sort of thing. I want to live under that sort of thing. Or you could go, you know what? I want to change where I'm at to get to a point where I agree with what's going on. Do you understand my point of what I'm saying? Like, you have a choice as to what you do, where you go, how you want to live, what type of system you want to live under. And then you also have a choice of you can change this to try to change the system that you live under, and that could be your fight. But I'm also telling you that me knowing you're not going to be like, yo, let me change this through voting and through the law and through all of that. But I'm like, okay, if it's not through the okay, through civil rights laws, right?
Yeah.
The purpose ain't to change like, oh, you're a racist, I'm about to change your mind with these laws. No, the purpose is so that you can't deny me through the law. Yeah. And say, nah, I fuck what you think and how you feel about me. Now the law is saying you got to serve me a hamburger.
Yeah. The
law is saying my grandmother gets to use this bathroom. Mm-hmm. The law is that, we can go down the line, we can go down the line, we can go down the line. It's not, it's that's what I'm saying is the difference. But you can't do none of that if you don't get involved with it. And if you're not involved in the system, then remove yourself from the system.
It's heavy.
It's not real. Then you gotta think about, okay, well, if I don't live here, where am I going to live, and do I like that system better? Because I think a lot of us, as much as we talk shit about how incorrect this system is, there's a lot of places on earth where you got to do, what? Try that shit in China. Where the government's like, yo, shut the fuck up. Across the world. You understand my point, why I'm using such harsh language?
Yeah.
Because across the world, you'll get to a government that's like, yo, shut the fuck up, and we'll come kill you.
Yeah.
Nowhere is perfect. And that's why I said systems get corrupted by men, humans, all the time, no matter what type of system it is. I've seen systems work, and I've seen systems that don't work.
Yeah, man. I think I see that. I think the thing still remains. I don't think we're going to change the system in the system either, because it's a system.
I don't know. I can't. I don't want to say a defense. I don't know. When I say I don't know, I don't know. I'm just saying. I have to do, me personally, I'm telling you, I got to do some type of act. This is when we was having banter before, where I was like, yo, it's about the action. As much as I sit and think about things, and just sitting and thinking all day is not moving. At some point, we got to move, whether or not it's just like, it's like the guy who goes, yo, you know what? I'm going to sit down and I'm going to learn, every phrasing, figure out every way to play the keyboard. I'm going to learn all these different things. And the person is learning, and never makes a song. Versus the person that just goes, yo, I know 3 chords, bro. And I done made an album out these 3 chords. Is he the best keyboard player? Is he not to get into, but I'm saying this person took that little bit of information and was like, I'm doing something with it. Versus the person that's like, I'm just packing this information in my head and then never makes no music. But all these scales, all these way to voice it, but you gotta move at some point.
Agreed.
And if you wait until it's like, yo, I know all the information, you're gonna be dead.
I gotta shut up and dribble. That's crazy.
No. That's definitely not what I'm saying.
No. I know you're not saying it, but it's almost like I can't solve the problem that I think is the problem.
Anything's possible, brother. Anything's possible. You can't look at it. I don't think you could look at it that way. If we look at it that way, if we there's no point where we could quit. We can't quit.
Yeah.
If we quit, they win.
Wow.
Yeah, nobody said this is easy. It's not a thing of like, yo, here's this one solution. You just, if that's the case, we're brilliant people. We would have been did it. You know what I'm saying? We'd have been just like, okay, here's the answer. Everybody move. Let's go. It's not that simple. Everybody don't want the same thing. Everybody has different experiences. It's a complete. Like I said, one is a system, but 2 is like we have to define what it is. But to sit with no motion is just like crazy to me.
Right.
You got to. You literally have to.
I just don't want to keep doing the same thing that other people did or doing or are more better at doing than me. Like, get in where you fit in.
Right. There should. That's why I said, again, when's the last time you hear people argue systems? When's the last time somebody said, here's a new one?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? We're still arguing systems that were established for us. We think that it's cute if we're like arguing the different forms of communism, and that we do the mental masturbation of like, we read the books and I know the thing. But what is 2020? Yeah. We have to think of a system for a global economy with an internet, with, like all the things that we know are coming. Like, what is crypto going to do to us having these little small individual forms of money.
Yeah.
You understand? It's almost like if you could think about the euro without the problems of the euro. You know what I mean? Like that was the idea, the concept of, have you ever been to Europe?
No.
It's super annoying to like imagine. The only way I can say it for us is imagine if you use different money in Louisiana than you did in Texas.
Right.
Every time you cross a state border, you gotta exchange money.
Right.
This shit is annoying. So people is like, no, we need this one thing. You know what I'm saying? But then like the countries is like, no, I'm not tying my finance. France is like, I'm not tying my finance, my country to you, Germany, to you, London, to you. We're not gonna all be under the same shit. Nah.
Right. 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 That's why and that's why America united, because they couldn't keep doing that. Yeah.
Right. Is my point. So I'm making all this to say, like, okay, you have to now think of a system incorporating all of these things of where we are nowadays.
That's heavy. That's heavy. I think I just got to get to a higher level, man. That's it. I got to figure out how and why. I need the why. But they're there, man. Like there's there's architects out there, bro. And I don't feel like we're the ones interacting with them, yet we're the ones always talking about motion. Like we're the ones who it seems, especially under Trump, we're the ones that are affected the most. And that tells me we're the ones that have to do something. I can't relate to the party to do it for me. I can't relate to China doing it for me. I got to do it. But what am I doing?
But how,
in the meantime, they got me caught up in giving my permission to them to do it. But I should be able to take ownership of that. Mm-hmm. Because I'm not asking to take over the world. I'm asking to take over what affects me. So how do we do that? I don't know.
It's a deep question, but I'm trying to tell you that you have to, in your spirit, understand that how many people have tried to answer this question and haven't necessarily found the answer, but they moved forward. If nobody moved forward, we'd still be under slavery. You understand what I'm saying?
But that's what I'm saying. It kind of feels like we are.
Of course, to a certain degree, but it's better than when my grandfather was born.
Yeah.
My grandfather was born in 1919. Where you at? My grandfather's from Rocky Point. You know what I'm saying? Imagine a black man at Rocky Point in 1919.
Right.
You know all too well. You know what I'm saying? Even more than some of us that live a little bit further up north, because we talk that shit because we grew up in a city. You know, I'll fuck him up. No, not when you in West Bumblefuck, Georgia, and it's 20 miles between you and the next place.
Right.
Northern people sometimes miss that. I'm just making a point to say like that it's way better than when my grandfather was born, and it's actually better than when my father was born.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My father was born in 46. Is it the end to all solutions in 1960? I mean, is it the end all be all solution in 1995? No, it's not. There's a little step forward. Your thing to me would be like, why is y'all arguing for these little bullshit ass civil rights? You should be arguing for human rights. You shouldn't even have to argue. And I'm like, well, at least you know what? Let them be able to use the toilet.
Yeah.
At least let us get some food. At least let us ride the bus. At least let us do that or do that. And we can get into the conversation about begging, about, yo, you should have your own. You should, okay, well, then let's build that. But while we doing that, this lady need to take the bus to get to work.
Yeah. That's heavy. But I'm saying, like, I mean, not for nothing, though. What else could we ask for versus them, versus their life in this life? Then what are we actually asking for then? Like, you know, If all I got to do is like sell drum packs and stuff, why is he even account? Like, you know what I mean? All I gotta do is sell sound packs.
Because it's way more shit going on, bro. It's like, yo, you got people that's literally lynching now and getting away with it. Yeah. Which I'm saying, okay, at the end of the day, it's not just about me and my personal security. This cop shouldn't be able to kill this boy and get away with it. That's the immediate, you know what I'm saying? There's certain immediate things that are outside of us and our own one security. So we're like, okay, here's the problem. Y'all keep killing a bunch of people, and it's not just the fact that you kill them, it's the fact you get away with it. You don't do any jail time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's something we can address. That's something we are addressing. You know, like, again, getting into these sidetrack arguments about like who gets to run the thing and who gets the money and who's the head of this, and that's really what it's about, is like, now you're going to have these organizations that are going to get tapped by the government, and the government's going to go, here, you keep saying to me that you know what's going on and you can solve the problem. Here's the money to solve the problem.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't give me the result, I'm going to pass that money to somebody else. That's kind of what the woke scam is what we were talking about earlier. You see what I'm saying? It's not even about like, it's just about, I want to be the one to control the solution money.
Right.
That's it. That's it. So, I mean, it's never perfect, bro. It's never perfect. It's never going to be a perfect thing. And I think this generation is really demonstrating that they don't want a leader. No, I'm saying that from the standpoint of, let me clarify what I'm saying. In intelligence, they're looking at past movements and going, whoa, okay, once this leader got taken out, the movement died. So if we don't have a direct leader of this thing, if we work as cells, then they can't just clip one person and then the whole thing just go down, which is historically what kept happening.
Right. Agreed.
So I could take down a whole movement by just killing one Martin Luther King. I could take down a whole movement by just killing one Malcolm X. I could take down a whole movement by, you know what I mean? We can go down the line. Just let me get rid of Fred Hampton. Let me get this, and we take down this whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or in the case of the Panthers, like systematic people. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, but still, think about how many people was in the Panthers and think about who got killed and that it shrunk the whole thing.
Right.
Because we hit the key people. If I don't kill you, I drive you crazy. I have you upstairs in the thing snorting coke.
But that's what I'm saying about them. We don't know who their people are.
You're right about that. And I'm saying that that's by design. And I'm saying that, one, I don't know if you're going to figure that out. And two, the original thing you said is I want to talk to them. And I'm like, I don't think that's going to do anything. I don't think you're going to figure them out in that time period. And they damn sure not just going to give you
Ah,
anything.
man. All you got to do is get Professor X in the room sometimes. You just got to get closer. I got to get closer to the fire so I can feel the warmth. And then I'm like, oh, that's the type of dragon we're dealing with. Okay, guys, so, all right, this is the pattern. And then you just forward that information to someone else who goes, well, let's try this with that type of beast. You know what I mean? You're not going to attack a bear the same way you attack a lion. So I don't know. Or not even just attack, just defense. Yeah, but you're not going to defend yourself.
I need the use of the world. Because there's certain information that, like, if I'm aware of certain things and I'm saying, yo, that this thing shouldn't happen, or that thing shouldn't happen, or that thing should, I need the use of the world to be in the fight. Meaning, it's not even just correcting the past shit, it's preventing future shit. You understand what I'm saying? In terms of, like, you could probably on and like all these other things, but you could probably see some patterns that I don't see. Right? Meaning, like, I don't know, just computer shit, right? Just this person is going to do this evil thing with this computer. Once we get all this information, This is how this person can manipulate this information. This is the things that they can. So we're going into a time that if you just sit out, everybody gonna lose out, and we're at that lock-in time for computers. It's still very new. A computer is still a very new thing in terms of where we're going and what we have experienced so far. It's super new.
Right.
So it's a lot of room to move, which is like, that's what I'm saying. So then there's things like, yo, we shouldn't be allowed to do this. We shouldn't be allowed to do that. These people shouldn't, be allowed to have this information or this or whatever. And when I say these people, I'm talking about certain companies. The company could start out with all the best intention, and then it's like, okay, I've collected all the information. Now somebody else could use it for negative, whatever.
That makes sense. Yeah.
It's a lot of shit that y'all know as programmers that I may not know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's context. It's like a lot of different contexts or perspectives. Yeah. And you can bring it all together and do something cool. What I'm saying is, I just don't want to get so carried away in doing cool shit. Be or do music producer. It takes us away from the fact that we're of war, but we're acting and moving like it's a time of peace. And the people I'm surrounded by don't seem to pick up those vibes. They seem lost. There you go. I think you're back.
Hold on. Why are people in here saying I don't know black coders? Are y'all serious? Are y'all serious right now? Please, come on, don't do that.
Huh. How
I wasn't talking from that perspective, but again, this is what people be assuming. It's just like, yo, come on, man. All the work that I be trying to do with Rodney Sampson, all the work I've done with Nesby, all the work, like, y'all gonna sit here and say I don't know black coders just because I don't code? I know plenty of black coders. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You're missing the whole point of what I'm saying. Then I said I need them because they're better than me at recognizing certain patterns.
Yeah. Some people miss the dancing bear. I get it. I get what you're saying though. Yeah. We need all the different classes or all different roles fulfilled, and build solid teams and strategies. And I'm just getting older, so I'm trying to figure out whatever that means for me personally.
Yeah, I'm listening to you. I'm just tripping over this like, yo, this is killing me right now. So let me get off of that and just get no, seriously, bro, because I'm like, yo, as much stuff as I've done to try to like help people with coding, for you to say I don't know black coders is just asinine to me. Like it's like, come on, fam. You can't be serious.
That's crazy.
All right, my fault. I'm off that. Go ahead.
It's all good.
I don't know, MG. I don't. I'm not going to front to you. Nobody has. There is no one like push button answer.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you're looking for, like, yo, do this and it's going to fix everything. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not. But to sit and remove yourself from it, to me, doesn't make sense.
Right. I don't think it's that easy either. I just think some of the stuff we're doing is redundant. That's all.
Oh, of course, because people are doing what they know. You know what I'm saying? Of course, some of it is redundant. I'm not saying, I'm not saying everything is super effective, but you got to deal with human emotion. You got to deal with, the fact that like people feel like they got to do something, right? And you can point out and say to them afterwards and be like, yo, okay, you went out and you did this thing. How effective was that? What does that do? What's the follow-up? So yes, the cathartic part of going out and protesting, right? And some of it is just cathartic. It is literally just to get that out, just to make you feel good. So then it's like, okay, now that you did that, what's the next movement? What's the next steps? We need to be talking about those steps now. Now that everybody's how many months removed from when we was protesting, you know what I'm saying? Now let's see who's really about it. Now let's see who want a nation build. Now let's see who want to, when it ain't just for the photo op and it's just like because everybody's outside doing it.
Right.
So, you know, that's the follow-up. But to say like, oh, y'all protest was the no, it brings a lot of attention. It's not a turnkey, just okay, solve problem, protest. Of course it's not that.
Yeah.
And I get where you're coming from.
I just want to be. I'm just saying, like, I know, like, we have a brother in our tribe called 607. He organizes locally and does all of that, and he shares a lot of insight, and he's passionate. He's passionate about it. I'm passionate about trying to identify what the information or problems are, because I'm not sure. Like, when I find us stuck in a racism loop, I go, maybe it's not a racism problem. And then when I started reading and learning about that, I learned so much about that it's like I feel a burden removed, because now I know not to react or try to problem solve based on racism. Now I understand, like, oh, you know, there's certain things on paper that need to be addressed, right? Cool.
Yeah.
What's the most logical thing to do? Connect with people who understand paper, lawyers, attorneys, etc. And when I try to reach out to them, they act like they don't want to touch it. Damn, can't use people already in the system to try to get, you know, advice about the system. So go to the next level. And it's like all the good ideas are dead ends for me, I guess. That's what I'm saying. All the dead ends are good. All the good ideas are like dead ends. So like, I'm like, well, fuck it. If none of these people on this level want to do it, then let me talk to the boss. Because maybe I'm not going to change it. Maybe I just need someone to tell me why it ain't going to change it. Because I don't know why I can't change it. I don't get it. I don't get why this is so hard to get. I don't get why, you know, I don't get it, man. I don't know. I don't know why we don't have a Dexter yet. Let's talk about it. I don't know why. I don't know why we haven't evolved to do what they do yet. I don't know. I don't know why.
Yeah. No. That I can't answer, bro. I don't know. If I had the answer, I'd have been put it into motion. I'd have been did it. You know what I'm saying? I don't have that direct answer, but you know, I'm restating myself again. I'm just saying it to me that's I can't just sit still. And I think in my years I've done enough of the like I'm gonna sit here and figure this out. I'm like, all right, you know, if you're looking at, you know, I'm gonna be approaching 50, and you know, that's half your shit. I'm already all right. I'm halfway done. You know what I'm saying? And that's if you live to 100. So let's get to work. I got some things to do before I get out of here.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Let's get to work. That's what I mean when I kept saying, yo, I got to move. I got to do something. I can't just. Bro, I've sat in rooms for years and built with so many different people, and we argue and we do all this other stuff. But it's like, yo, what's the movement afterwards? What's the movement? Because if that's the case, then we just going to be. If you put Nation of Islam, Moors, Christians, Buddhists, I don't know, people that believe in, like, you know what I'm saying, African spiritual philosophy, all in the same room, everybody's going to have a difference of opinion on everything. Everybody sees the world different, you know, like all, but they all, it's like, okay, well, what's the movement afterwards?
Yeah, we got to gain agreement on what we are going to do together. What are we addressing together? And getting that consensus or gaining agreement is difficult because I don't feel like we're evaluating the right problems.
I get what you're saying, but that's like, okay, again, let me give you an example. That's like having a meeting in Newark one time, right? And this really pissed me off one time. We was having a meeting in Newark to address gang violence. What we gonna do about, like, you know, everybody came together, and that room became an argument of philosophies instead of addressing how do we affect the gang violence.
Right.
And then at the end of the day, because this person now feels like, oh, this person beat me in an argument, now you don't want to deal with them. You don't even want to talk to them anymore. And we didn't get to the point of addressing gang violence. So, and I'm saying that to the degree where somebody be like, ain't no poppy fields in the ghetto. We need to address where the drugs come from. We don't make the guns. We need to address where the guns. Yes, of course, bro. Of course. But guess what? We need to stop this dude from shooting this dude. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not mutually exclusive. You know what I'm saying? That's what it sounds like to me when I'm like, yo, we need to address this thing. We need to be talking to our kids. What are the things we can do to do something about this? And then somebody starts going, yo, you know what? We don't make no guns. Bruh, I know that. Okay. What are we going to do?
But what about black on black crime? Yeah, I know what you mean. We gotta start doing standardized testing for those meetings. That's all.
It's just not mutually exclusive. And again, I've been in that mind state of like, yeah, I want to go talk to the boss. I want to talk to and it's just like, yo, okay. Sometimes you do need to put a Band-Aid on something to stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
They out here bleeding.
You asked for the boss, so they sent me, dog.
Mm-hmm. 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 It's like every person that I see. The reason I tried to those systems earlier, somebody to come up to me and explain to me the negative parts of capitalism. I already know what that is, right? If you're going to explain to me the negative parts of capitalism, then explain to me what you're going to replace it with.
Right. What's the counterbalance?
Yeah. What system are you going to replace it with? And if you name any system that exists already on this planet, I can show you where the corrupt version is.
It reminds me of that saying when someone asks you, yo, what's your dream job? And the person goes, you think I dream of labor? So it's the gaining agreement or consensus part. Like if we replace capitalism, we're implying labor. So I guess the real question is, can you live in a system that does not require labor? Or how much does it cost first? Like how much money do you have to crowdsource to create a laborless society in which people can volunteer or, just sign up for doing things? And how minimal can it be? And how do you expand it? So you don't, gridlock yourself at the start. And what's the capacity? You know what I mean? Like you could get really nerdy with that. You can bring up a spreadsheet. You can do a computer code. You can run simulations now. Like we have so many better tools to test and meet that out. But I don't think that's the problem. I don't think capitalism is the problem. I think the problem is there's a legacy, there's a history, and there's a lot of secrets that may just affect us so profoundly. I think I'd be okay with the current system we're in, even in the position that I'm in, if they just told the fucking truth, because the truth will just reframe my mind space, and I'll be able to just function. I'll accept the truth for what it is and be like, all right, cool, that happened. It is what it is. What is my wiggle room? How far can I stretch before I violate? And that is what it is. And I think I can make a better decision on what I want to do and contribute now. But right now, I kind of feel like there's a lot more hidden doors and stuff because of the deception. And it's kind of like, oh, so maybe I can get into this room. Maybe I can get into that room. And, you just end up just, explore. I'm in the exploring phase. I've explored so many different doors. It's like, wow, there's a lot of unattended areas in this mansion. There's a lot of different doors. And it's like,
I get what you're saying. And I agree. I think you're saying the same thing I'm saying. And I agree with you. And that's what I'm trying to say is that if you are to attack a system, when you replace it with another system, that same lies, the same greed, the same this goes back to Lord of the Flies.
Yeah.
And it really is Lord of the Flies. And it's just like, yo, is that the nature of just in general? Is that thing embedded in us to that point, or is it possible for us to get beyond that?
We got to find out that joint that Tesla built for them. We got to find out where they put it and destroy it.
Nah, I mean Tesla. They got a bunch of Tesla papers though. They took all this. They made sure to take all his papers.
Well, what I'm saying is, what if it's just a signal, right? Like when you talk about behavior, what if it's not capitalism? What if it's something a little bit more in your environment? Maybe humans behave this way around these things, and it might be as simple as getting away from cell phone towers.
But the thing I was bringing up about Lord of the Flies is that's the whole study of that thing. It's like, okay, you take these people away from technology. They're actually kids, right? And you put them on this island, and what we start to see develop is like this natural thing of like, I'm going to assume power over all of y'all. I want to be the king. You understand? These kids aren't taught that. They start to naturally develop this thing of like, nah, I'm ruling.
Yeah, there's something else in our code to manifest those kind of people. Yeah. There's a study for that too, right? Like there's a knowledge path you can do on that too. And if I'm not mistaken, our ancestors used to do it. You know, when they study your charts and be like, yo, these are your energies, you're gonna be this kind of person. Yeah, there's a time like you can almost predict that. That's how scary human is. Like as unique as we are, there's a lot of things in our behavior that is predictable. And stimuluses are predictable. How we would react to a stimulus is predictable.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yes.
So
yeah, absolutely.
But I think some of these people who gave us these narratives and frameworks, I don't think those same type of people they're not the majority no more. That's why I'm a little bit more optimistic. So, you know, if we had a whole bunch of fire energy in the Rothschilds and their new generation just happens to be air energy, they might be willing to negotiate with us because our negotiations aren't going to be about going to war or replacing them. It's going to be about renegotiating where we fit on this pyramid. And they might be like,
I don't know about that. And I feel like it's the Tupac thing where he's like, yo, I'm hungry, I'm outside, I see you got the buffet. And it's just like, it's been too long of asking for that. What he say after the 5th month, my rhyme is going to be, I'm picking the lock, coming through the door, blasting. I'm getting the food. You know what I'm saying? I'm not asking no more. That's it.
Right.
And I don't think we're at that point. The one thing that I think that we've gotten lazy on, or that we don't understand, is the cost of life, of what it takes to change things. There's no place that has significant change on this planet where somebody walked up and asked the oppressor, hey, can you kind of change this for me? In that voice. You know what I'm saying? It had to be revolution. It had to be bloodshed. It had to be somebody got to die.
Right. Right.
Anywhere on the planet, that's the way it happens.
As far as we know, yeah.
I don't claim to be omnipotent. I don't know of any revolution in the history of the world that made a significant change that was done by just like, hey, let me talk to you and stop and get your foot off my neck.
Have you? I don't know if you've had this experience, but I'm probably a little bit. I've had a unique circumstance of experiences. I tell this funny story that every time I work in a job, like if I work in the public sector and I'm dealing with a racist manager or a person that I know I'll be risking my freedom if I keep interacting with them.
Mm-hmm.
I get to a point in that experience where it's like, if something doesn't help me, I'm just going to do it. And almost always, it's happened 3 times in my life so far, that particular place of business just shuts down. Now, scientifically, the odds of my threshold of being pissed off and dealing with fucked up situations leading into a job no longer existing, even if you drive by it today, is curious to me. I wonder what that is. I don't know what that is. But I've seen it in relationships. If I'm tired of someone, they go away. Mm-hmm. I've seen it in in certain things or paradigms I'm stuck in. Like, you know what, I'm tired of this. And then just like that, you know, within 2 days, something new comes in my way. I don't know what that is. I don't know how to calculate that, but I don't feel like we're collectively tired of this. I think part of us is kind of like, you know, enjoy the abuse. So it maintains and it lingers and it keeps permeating each generation because we are agreeing to it. Not right, wrong, or indifferent, but like
you are agreeing to it. But I'm also saying again, we can't be so just blatant with the like, okay, we just agree to it without taking into account like, no, this was beat into you, bro. This was beat in. You were a fucking slave. Hold on, just let me finish what I'm saying. Okay. And the fact that you're throwing in the pacification with everything else. And I'm not just talking about like pacification with drugs. I'm talking about pacification with everything, right? That could be, oh, this person got the great job, and I'm not trying to mess that up. This person got the great, you know what I mean? Pacification through on top of actual drugs and like, you know what I mean? All those other things. But you could pacify somebody with a bunch of things. So it's like, I don't want to risk, this ain't me talking. I'm talking about people that are just like, yo, I'm cool. Leave us alone. You know what? It's I'm gonna get you sucker. When he was like, yo, what killed the revolution? He was like, brothers went downtown. He was like, what happened? He's like, they came back with jobs. What happened?
That's funny. I need to watch that again. But yeah.
They came back with jobs. So it's like, okay, if I have, I don't know, my grandfather's you know, generation, who was like, okay, their job is to like work hard as hell. My grandfather's that normal story, military, you know what I'm saying? Went through that whole thing, super military, ends up in DC, drives a cab, but sends 3 kids to college, right? Awesome. My dad's generation was that first generation of, you know what I mean? I'm the first one from my family to go to college when we started hearing that a lot more, right? And then my dad's generation was also the I'm gonna break the glass ceiling in this company. You understand what I'm saying? The 80s, 90s was when we started seeing like these, oh, we can have black managers and we can, you know what I mean? We start giving this little bit of like a boost up and you feel good. That I'm saying pacifying that way. So then you have this middle class that now buys houses, you know, got a car, so it's not the pressure of like, I don't feel that. Now it's gonna take like, you gotta see a young boy get shot to be like, oh, it is still injustice. Cause I've been cool I've been eating. That's the pacification that I'm talking, and that happened on a large scale.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're really good social programmers, and that's not an area of expertise that we have yet. I think we can nudge ourselves. I really do. I think it's relatively easy. It's not as hard as it seems. I've watched it on the internet, so I just need to know where the nudge needs to go to, and I'm not sure.
Yeah, the only thing with that is just like, I understand what you are saying. I'm also saying that in real life is different than the internet because there's a physical threat of violence. You will lose your life. I will shoot you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm willing to back up my shit with an army. Where's your army?
I think we are too. I just don't.
I know we are. I'm saying we have to get into. You have to understand that mind frame, and then I'm also saying to you, for me, there's a difference in how certain people think. Yeah. Meaning you're not going to move the same, or meaning like when I get outside of the United States, when you get outside of the United States, you start understanding that it's not we in the United States are so focused on color. And like, oh, this person's black, this person's white, this person's this person's that. And outside of the United States, this is my personal opinion. Yeah. I find that people are more into what do you believe in? Who are you? What is your belief system? Who do you represent? What thing are you? What's your value system? Now, if you don't want to say belief, values, what's your core value? People are into that more than your
what are you about?
So then you have American black people that can't understand that like it's white people across the world catching hell from these same people too. That's your partner in the fight as well.
Yeah, Scotland in particular, the Scottish, the natives of Scotland, they feel that way.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Everywhere. So again, there's all these different perspectives of like people that's why my perspective is going to be a little different. You understand what I'm saying? I have friends from every race. I have friends. The thing that boggles my mind is like when I travel the world and I'm like, yo, these people is really cool. They want the same thing I want. I go to Colombia. These people is really cool. They want the same thing I want. I go to Africa. These people is really cool. They want the same thing I want. And then we can never get it all together.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? We can never just get it like all the way together. We start arguing over little dumb shit.
I agree.
So
there's a trick there somewhere. There's something not like the other. Yeah.
No. And please don't get me wrong when I'm saying that. I'm saying that like when you say something like the other, what are you referring? Because I'm saying
even with our similarities, there's something not like the other. What I mean is we're still not ready to execute together.
Oh, okay, yeah. Now I thought you were talking about our unique experience of being raised in this country as a person of color. Yes, your experience is going to be super unique from somebody that was raised outside of the country. The same way, like, I don't know, my growing up on the East Coast is going to be unique from a person that grew up on the West Coast.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That's interesting. The environment and the variables will change. I think it's beautiful. The things that stay the same, though. I think that's where the magic is. There's something in that of how much is the same, even still.
Right.
With what we're experiencing, though, I don't think it's kind of weird, man. It's kind of like hip hop to me. Politics is kind of like music. Like when I found out a lot of things in the music industry was cap, or not just cap, but maybe marketing and the excitement and the energy of marketing. I kind of feel like politics is kind of going to be revealed to be the same thing, and it's going to be like, damn.
You know what you said earlier today?
What?
It was like, yo, a lot of the cap in the music business is the way that people get ahead is based off relationships. Yeah. Is what you said, and you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. That's what I'm saying is like, okay, then if the politics and all that other stuff is relationships, if it's then you're saying I don't want to play the game go until I know exactly where, and I'm like, yo, I'm at least like, okay, let me build these relationships, then let me figure out what the hell is going on.
That's why I said I want to know who the bosses are. I don't want to deal with the A&R. I don't want to deal with the guy with the email blast. I want to, you know what I mean? Like, who's the bosses?
Yeah, I think the difference is in terms of me, I don't necessarily want that. When I say that, I'm talking about other like-minded people around the world who think like me, and I get with them and I make things happen versus me being like, okay, I got to go talk to this person so that I can know how they think.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. That's my mean. It's just like, okay, well then let's figure this out with the people who actually do, because otherwise you're not going to be able, not everybody's going to think the same. Not everybody going. All you can do is get with the like-minded thinking people and move.
Get active.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And then it will attract other things and draw other things, and like the little differences that people have, they're going to either have to get worked out or not. And when I say difference, I'm talking about within us, among us, right? I have brothers. Yeah. People have different value systems.
Yeah.
So I have people that are like, yo, okay, we're going to fight and we're going to do this. I'm be like, all right, well, what about the homosexual community?
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, no, I'm not with that. And I'm like, well, okay, then you're not for everybody. You just for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a lot of subdivisions.
What about this? I could go class by class of these little things that divide people.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, the consensus may not be everything. The consensus might be that one thing that unites all of those different groups. Like, I might be able to work with homosexuals without it being about homosexuality.
It shouldn't even have to be.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But we're setting up teepees and Indians for those kind of things, though. Like, yo, the niggas that like anime, yo, the niggas that want to get married. I'm like, bro, but we're getting killed by police. Can we talk about that?
That's my point. That's when I say that doesn't matter, and I'm saying it in context of if we're trying to solve this policing problem, why are we talking about this person's sexual orientation?
Yes. Yeah.
In that conversation, don't have nothing to do with it. But I'm saying those little simple things are enough to divide us.
Yeah.
You want to see some black church people get real ignorant? Talk about homosexuality.
Yeah.
The people that's supposed to love and supposed to no, get that out of here. That's no, get that.
Damn. Like, and it's, but what's crazy is we don't even be talking about that, and then that becomes the issue, and it's like, bro, like, oh, okay, who cares? Like, why are we talking about that?
Again, because of the misinformation, like we was talking this morning, like not we, you were speaking earlier about like, yo, okay, we can get a report that says, yo, Trump only paid this much in taxes. And nobody's telling the whole thing of like, no, he deferred for this long and this long. He got hella penalties. He did this. He paid all those penalties, paid off all the shit. Then it's $4,500,000, you know what I mean, and $700.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying it about I don't, you know what I mean? And of course I hate Trump, you know what I'm saying? But it's about the thing of like the details of what we're actually talking about.
Yeah.
And we run with those. So it's just like, yo, the whole narrative becomes the $700. And nobody else read the other thing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm relaying that to. We will get completely off topic from these little small things.
Why is this so hard, man? This don't seem like this should be this hard. This don't seem like this is like, this doesn't even make sense to me. I cannot compute.
It's how people feel. People have deep rooted things that they, you know what I'm saying? You could go, you are sitting there talking and it's just like, yo, not you personally, I'm just like, yo, you can go into our Muslim community and they're not gonna accept
that. Yo, how do we get anything done then, man? Like, what is the question?
This is the question. That is the conundrum. That is the thing. That is the like, okay, when we keep saying we, that's what I'm reiterating this. Who is we? And if you're talking about us, we all have different value systems.
So I guess you speak French now. Yeah, man. I think, yo, that's scary. There's a scary possibility that there is no we, but there is a collective effect. So I guess the we is those who are collectively traumatized by certain effects. So like,
yeah, but again, these are not these are overlapping circles.
Yeah,
overlapping circles. So I'm sure it's probably some people in here who are like, okay, there's probably a thing that overlaps all of us, right? All of us like plugins and make beats. I would say out of the 100% of people who may be looking at me and you because they make beats, I say we could probably profile them and say 75% of those people like anime. That normally goes together, right? That normally like goes together. But then there's some things that start separating us. So we have two circles that kind of like, you know what I'm saying? They're not like
the Venn diagram joints. I'm with you.
Yes, they overlap is what I'm saying. So there's, you know, things that we're going to agree upon. There's things that we're not going to agree upon. So it's not just like this circle's here and this circle's here. It's like we got to find what those overlapping things are. But at the end of the day, there are certain fundamental things that this circle and this circle just is not going to agree upon.
Do you think it's that what really binds us together is the circles that overlap that are based on survival?
Yes.
Like you know, like resource sharing.
Yes.
So I feel like we got clamorous. I feel like we got away from our survival needs and got into our social needs.
Yes.
And they're playing this game socially with us.
Yeah.
And what I'm sensing is that I have fatigue from the social paradigm, and I'm like, so let's fix the survival program. And I don't know how to do that. So like, instead of arguing with my own people all day, let me go to the boss. He'll kick me out. He kicked me out. But what if you don't?
I get
don't know.
I get what you're saying again too. I'm also saying that because of the I've addressed this in terms of saying like you probably can't grow all the food that you would like to eat or that you're accustomed to eating right
Right.
now. You could like, I'm not saying society has built it that way. We chose to do it that way. We chose supermarkets, right? Versus it was more of a convenience for us versus like when we used to just everybody grow your own local food, right?
Right.
So it is possible to do, but I'm saying we've chosen certain conveniences of I don't want to take up that land space. I want to just go to this one place and buy this particular thing, and then that's it. And I don't really want to have to think about farming. You understand what I'm saying? This is the virus moment in the Matrix.
Yeah.
Right? When he's sitting there talking to Morpheus, and he says, you know, we studied you humans, and all you do is you move into these cities, you consume all the natural resources, and then the only way you can survive is to spread out and do it all over again somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
He said the only organism on this planet that acts like that is a virus. Every other organism on this planet comes into a natural equilibrium with the planet.
You know what's scary, Guru? I'm gonna tell you something that's scary. What you just said. I forgot that was in the Matrix, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you said that, someone in real life said that to me. I applied at a call center job, and I was talking to a recruiter. He was a white dude, heavy set white dude, 42, 45, real gregarious, jolly. Didn't really fit the environment, but you know, he's excited. And when he was talking to me, asking me about my interests and stuff, and you know, trying to do a cold reading on me, I had said something to him. I triggered him. I said, you know, I hear about the turnover rate at this place a whole lot. What's up with that? And for whatever reason, I asked him, I said, so what happens when, you know, you fire everybody in Raleigh? And he said to me, well, you know, it takes a while for us to deplete a particular region. But if we do have so much attrition that, you know, we got everyone into the call center locally that's qualified, we'll just go to another city and open up a new call center.
Exactly.
He said it just like that. Like,
exactly.
Just like it. This ain't about y'all. This ain't about this business. We could do this. Exactly. Basically, he told me we can run this play anywhere.
Yeah.
So to me, I reverse engineered it and I said, your repeat until is that almost until you run out of human resource.
Yes. Yes.
And I was like, God damn, why would you say that to me? You didn't even hire me yet.
But it's how it works, and that's what I'm saying. It's not a secret. It's that's really how manufacturing was working. When we hear all these things about, like, you know, okay, so and so is going to outsource this outside the United States, and we're going to, you know, manufacture here in this place, right? That's the mentality. You go to some poor ass place. You say, yo, I'm gonna give you this factory. People start to work. They start to increase their, you know what I mean, the way of life. Then after a certain amount of time, now they've gotten big enough to where they're like, yo, I want this. And then you know the thing goes, okay, well, I gotta start paying y'all this now, so forget it. We just gonna move this over here to the next super broke place where they happy to work for nothing.
Yes, that's exactly that's basically what he said to me.
Yeah, that's what happens. That's what, because you're going to build up your society enough. We gave you jobs, so we're going to build up society enough to the point now where you're used to, I want a minimum wage, and I want, you know what I mean, like a little bit above that, and I'm starting to get to these points. Nah, we just move to somewhere else. Shut down that factory.
We have to. We have to social. So I mean, so the answer to the problem is, Guru, is that we have to program our people to not respond to those stimuluses.
It's difficult, bro. It's easier said than done. If I can walk into a country that's where a village is starving, bro. I'm in China, right? If I walk into a village where you're literally broke, and I'm promising you financial gain, people are gonna go for that.
Fact.
People are gonna go for that.
You're saying there's always incentive for sellouts.
Yes. Yeah. Somebody is gonna go, you know what? MG's charging this much, I'm gonna charge $20 less.
That's what the not the Targaryens, but the Lannisters was good for on Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I peeped game on that. I was peeping the social commentary with that, the different methods in which people rule their empire, and I was like, I can almost guess which groups they're talking about too. But
yeah, but they running the code and the play. But look at what Cersei. Now that you brought that up, right? Look at what Cersei is saying to Homeboy, to little finger, when he start feeling himself a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And he think this thing where people would say information is power, and people would get mad at me. I'd be like, no, how you use the information is the power, right? So what she's trying to show, where he's like, oh, I know this about your family, I know that about your family, I'm the money. She look at the 4 guards, and she be like, yo, kill him. And they make the move, and then she goes, stop. And then back up, turn around. She like, look, let me explain something to you. Power is power.
Facts.
That money you got, making you think you got some power. I got the power, and it's way above money. You see, that's the, you know what I'm saying. Like, when you bringing that up, that's what she's trying to explain to him.
Right. Right.
That's how Rothschild is looking at you. I'm above the money.
I think in some ways I feel the same way. So I would look at them and say, well, we're twins today, but that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah, but you missing the point. You're missing the point. Do you think Cersei could beat Littlefinger if they fought one-on-one?
No.
Exactly. It's the fact she got her army right there. That's the hope. She got them 4 people. That's her army. So the people that's coming at you, they got an army. You ain't got no army.
I feel like maybe they're not coming at us. Maybe because our numbers are so low, and we might not be I almost feel like we're not even the focus of the show, and we're just crying to be the focus almost, like PTSD. I kind of feel like, I'll be honest with you, people have complained a whole lot about Trump so much that is really loud and reverberates, that this is the happiest I've been in America in my entire life. And what I mean by that is, we may not like him, but if I stop thinking about him and them and just look at the opportunities and where technology is and where we are, where we benefit, where we are, if you just mute that channel for a minute and actually calculate, all my brothers can go to school now, all my brothers can get on the internet and sell sample packs now. Like, I don't feel like he's in the way of that. So why are we making?
Yeah, but it ain't about sample packs, MG. It's a lot of other shit.
No. What I'm saying is, I use that example, but a lot of my brothers, some of the ones watching are like in IT school and shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're getting it. When Obama was in office, I don't remember that many brothers.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I understand exactly what you're saying. And there's 2 things. On one hand, Homeboy's a clown, right? And he's a manager. He's a manager, right? We know what he is. At least we know what he is, and we're going to get him out of here. That's not the overall point of what we're talking about. Is that system that's going to be here longer than him and the people that.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, but the system. I'm saying is, we are crying about the system because of him. But if you actually look at the system, what are we crying about?
Yeah, but we was crying about it way before him. He's just a personification of what's in there right now. But the system has been broken. We're not broken. The system's actually working.
What I'm saying is,
been designed to do what it's supposed to be doing.
But what I'm saying is, are we saying that, or is it broken?
No, the system actually works and does exactly what it's supposed to do well.
No, what do we disagree with? Do we disagree with mean people, or is there something systematically wrong? I don't know anymore. I don't see it. I hear it. I don't see it.
You don't see something systematically wrong when a cop can shoot somebody and get away with it? We talking about direct loss of life, bro.
Hold on real quick. Hold on real quick. I don't want to speed too fast.
Okay, go ahead. Build on it.
I know why they get away with it. So what I'm saying is, it's not Trump. It ain't voting. It's why they get away with it, and we're never going to get to that part. So no, I don't even focus on that no more.
What do you mean we're never gonna get to that part?
You cannot. You ever see the memes where they talk about how like white people are more concerned about property than they are people?
I've never seen that. Man.
Like where the people like we'll be arguing about what we be arguing about, and they be like, "But did they damage the property?" Like basically, people will go to war over you breaking the glass than the fact that George Floyd died.
All right, make the point, because I think I see what you're saying, but I'm lost as to like what the point is that you're trying to get to.
As long as you're chattel property, you don't get any justice. Your property. There's no justice for property.
Nah, but no. Here's what I'm trying to say though, is that you have the ability, you knowing that you're not actual property, you can fight back is the point. So you don't have to respond as if
we're not matching against brands. We're matching against a cow died. We haven't said a human died yet.
No, that's what we've been screaming, bro.
No, but we're saying that about a person who was a property. We're transposing. We're like, on the keyboard, you transpose. We're transposing. We're projecting.
Yeah, I don't understand exactly what you're saying, because I'm saying, yes, even if that person looks at it and goes, okay, I don't value that life. No,
I'm not talking about the killing. The killing is they're going to do that whether they could or not. What I'm saying
but what I'm addressing, again, it is not the thing of me trying to change your mind as being a racist. You understand? The problem is the power that you have as a racist. If you don't like me, that's your problem. If you have the power to do something to me about that, that's my problem.
Can we do a thought experiment real quick?
Yeah.
How do we kill them without them getting justice?
How do we kill who?
The people killing us.
No. Listen. Let me be.
No, I'm telling you why there's a difference in between.
No, but I'm getting directly to a point, MG, of this, right? We never gonna live in a utopia. I don't care if the dude doesn't have evil intentions, if he's not a racist or whatever. Some cop is gonna slip up. Some cop is gonna make a mistake. Some cop is gonna shoot somebody, make the wrong decision at the wrong time. My point is that I have a lot of homies that are in jail for the rest of their life because they made the wrong decision at the wrong time.
In their property.
So just let me say what I'm saying. It's not that I'm saying that there's never going to be another cop killing. What I'm saying is that when that happens, accidental, on purpose or not, you go to jail for the rest of your life. The same way my friends who slipped up one night and shot somebody went to jail for the rest of his life.
That's what I just said. The difference is we're property.
It's a way, MG, to make sure that those agents have to be held accountable for those things.
That's personal. That the legal system, the justice system, doesn't respect that. If you, the victim, is property, we're fighting for human rights, and we're not getting justice through chattel property civil rights.
Here's the question that I have, MG. So if you go through, and again, this is me asking you as a Moor, right? This is me asking you as a Moor, and saying that, okay, if the lessons that our Moorish brothers and sisters are teaching us is about law, is about the way that things are worded, is about the fact of what we are underneath of the law, then I'm saying, okay, if let's say everybody becomes Moors, right? Does that change the fact that that cop is still going to shoot somebody?
No.
That's my point.
No. I'm not saying that's not a point. I'm saying when we demonstrate, march, and exhaust our capital and energy to change justice, you're not going to get it because you're making an incorrect argument with these people. It's almost like they're allowing us to hang ourselves with our argument. They're not trying to help us. They're not going to tell you, oh yeah, the reason why these cops kept getting off is because technically they didn't do anything wrong. That's wrong. In itself, that's fucked up. In itself, that's wrong. But legally, it's not.
No. I'm trying to follow the reasoning here, because legally it is. Legally, that police officer is not supposed to shoot that person for no reason.
The police officer, when it comes to us, that police officer didn't kill a person. We saw this when that Ethiopian cop killed the white lady, and they sent his ass to jail.
Yeah, but there's been white cops that have been sent to jail too. That's not the point. The point is that there's a disproportionate amount of times when a young black male gets killed and the person does not go to jail. So my point is whether or not,
we're saying the same thing.
Let me finish what I'm saying. Whether or not that person is regarded as whatever, that our fight, our struggle is what we're saying. We know that this already happens, that these people are getting off. And I'm saying to you that the movement of what we're trying to change, for me, this is me personally, I want that person who shoots someone and kills someone to go to jail for the rest of their life, the same way anybody else would. And we know that because of the code of blue, that they're not getting that. That's the fight. That's what we're changing.
It's not the code of blue. It's the law.
It's not the law.
It's the law.
No, it's not. Let me be very specific. I understand where you're pulling that from, and a lot of my Moorish brothers do that to try to explain what I more than somebody who probably just randomly is watching, understand what you mean when you say the chattel. But what I'm also saying to you is that regardless of that status, regardless of a foreigner, regardless of your nationality, regardless of how this person views you, legally, what are you saying that person can? You're trying to tell me that this cop can just kill anybody, and that's not true. Legally.
They can, and they do.
No. What I'm trying to say to you is that the manipulation of the justification of the reason why somebody needs to fire a gun as an officer is the reason that they get off. It's the manipulation of the law.
Correct. When they got the Proud Boys last week, they were trying to kidnap the governor. They interviewed a sheriff who was in a picture at one of their rallies, and they asked the sheriff, like, "Hey, yo, don't you feel kind of bad that you're potentially caught up in this plot, with these terrorists, basically?" And he said, actually, no. According to statute 45.1, this type of case is not even intent to kidnap. It might be ranked down as a misdemeanor, blah, blah, blah. He went real deep, and he didn't look like the type of nigga that should have went that deep. But I said that to say,
somebody could look at you and be like, yo, I don't think he that deep. You can't judge the book by the cover. Like,
well, no. What I'm saying is you would have if he didn't say all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I'm saying is it was alarming, I should say. It was alarming that particular book knew the law so well that he pretty much beat the case before it went to trial. He like no one asked him what the statutes were. No one asked that was he didn't even answer the question. He gave a legal defense like he was ready. He knows what this law says. Our people are marching, dancing, crying, everything, and none of us know what that law says. When we start to understand what that law says,
MG, listen, because I'm not totally disagreeing with you, so that people don't think that we in discourse, so I can get more information and understand better. I am not. First of all, some people do know the law, but a lot of people don't. The other part that I'm saying to you is, if someone recognizes something, what the fight is, right? If you recognize this fact, we're not arguing over the fact that police have been shooting, police have been getting away with it, police have been, like, we know these things. The whole point is to change that. Do you understand what I'm saying?
If we could, what I'm saying is we would change that if we knew the law, because then we start getting them into a weird spot where they can't use that defense no more. Like, oh, you can't use chattel property no more. Now you're dealing with humans.
No, but you keep saying this thing about chattel property. Nobody's bringing that up in the law. The law, when somebody's arguing, no, listen to what I'm saying, MG. When somebody's arguing in court, the main thing that you have to prove is that I was in fear for my life, or there was a life-threatening situation that was the reason why I needed to. Yes, you do.
They ask you what you are first, Guru.
Huh?
They ask you what you are first. You
See,
declare what you are before
this
you
is where
start.
you lose. This is where you lose me, and this is where a lot of the brothers need to explain to me when we start getting into these arguments about semantics of words, and when you get into the law, because I have yet to see anybody step up and do this very thing that they keep talking about with us getting killed and also with taxes. And I'm saying it to say, okay, then educate people. Do it for us. Like, show us what the hell it is. Because I hear it all the time about the semantics of words and what.
I got you.
Then what
I
is
got
it?
you. I got
Thank you.
you.
That's what I'm asking.
I got you.
That's what I'm asking.
This is the biggest thing. We're calling this civil rights 2.0.
Okay.
We're doing it to ourselves. We declared, or Black Lives Matter declared, that this is about civil rights.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need civil rights. Civil rights is for people who are not citizens. Civil rights is for people who are foreigners or alien. We're none of those things.
Mm-hmm.
So why is our leaders putting us in a predicament that anytime something bad happens, we respond with trying to get more civil rights? That doesn't make any sense. And
Okay.
I'm not the first person to read what that means. So why do we feel like the lowest hanging fruit is civil rights rather than just going balls out and going, you know what, this year I want to be human? When we start doing that and pushing for human rights in these marches, I would love to hear what they're saying to why we can't.
But you understand the point of, and again, like, I'm trying to say it this way, right? And people acting like I don't watch the dailies. You know what I'm saying? I know we get into the, you know what I'm saying? People acting like I don't watch them. Like, I'm a fan of MG, like, cut it out. But the point being is, like, we had that argument with like Martin and Malcolm of like, yo, one's going for civil rights, one's going for human rights, right? Malcolm sees this point that you're making at a certain point, and it's like, no, you can't do that because this person's not referring to you that way. I'm asking a different question. I'm saying that if this is the case, why is there not someone stepping up in these cases and going, yo, this is how we're supposed to do this? I'm talking about a Moore.
Those guys. So when you say the Moors, like, be very clear.
No. I'm saying,
I have to answer it that way because that's what you're about to talk about. Temple Moore.
No, I didn't say. I'm saying when someone is shot, I'm saying the step up, and I'm not assuming that I'm not lumping everybody together.
I got you. I'm gonna give you a situation where might give you some insight. So I know some Temple Moors locally.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't joined a temple yet. I'm still smelling out. Like I said, I'm in discovery still, but I know a few things. So the biggest problem that quote unquote Moors have in the United States is that there's a group of Moors who make a mistake and identify themselves through their teaching, whether that's through jail or whether that's through the homies, and they call themselves something sovereign citizens.
Okay.
A sovereign cannot be a citizen.
Because somebody gave that to you. Yes, exactly.
It's a contradiction.
A contradiction, yes, I get it.
That group and that philosophy is nitpicking a lot of good information, but they're doing a very poor execution. And those are the ones that get all the negative attention. Those are the ones that are on the like FBI Black extremist list. They're almost like some of the Hebrew Israelites that kind of do the same thing accidentally because of semantics. Now, my Temple Moors here in Durham, they have a situation where if a Moor gets locked up specifically, the courthouse will call the temple. I'm privy to a situation where the courthouse called the Moorish temple general, and the guy at the whatever they are at the courthouse said, "Yo, we have one of your people here," and he was like, "Do you know him?" He said, "Well, he's down here calling himself a sovereign citizen," and the temple Moor had to tell the guy on the phone in relationship to one of his brothers that, nah, that's not us. Because what it does for the temple is makes the temple hot because you're about to put us on this list and we already have an agreement with our local state and city courthouse that if a Moor gets locked up, reach out to us. So what I'm telling you is it is a reality. Moors do help Moors get out of jail or
no. That wasn't my question. You just went down a long road. You know what this is? You know what the question I'm asking you is? The scene is the scene in Malcolm X where the lady's like, yeah, they Muslims, but they only concerned with it when it affects other Muslims.
Yes.
You remember that scene where the lady's like, "Yo, why it ain't if it ain't got nothing to do with them, then they not jumping." And I asked a question, a very specific question of saying, "Yo, this is not an argument about who knows more. What's you know what I mean? What's
No.
I'm not.
No, what I'm saying
This
is
is not.
that social group exists, though.
No. Let me finish what I'm saying. I'm saying in terms of the education for those of us who may not know the law the way that this is what I look towards my Moorish brothers and sisters for. You know what I'm saying? Of being like yo, like this is what y'all study more than us. You have more information than me. You can break this down better than me. You are more of an expert at this than me. So then why do we not see those examples?
I don't think it's good for business to that story. I told you that story because it is an example of if I got jammed up and I was affiliated with that group can act as a liaison for me, and I don't have to get a lawyer no more. Why?
Right.
Because by default, Moors are lawyers, so
Right.
they will represent me as a human, and that's what I'm hearkening on. You don't even need a Moor to help you. You can help yourself if you know. What I'm saying is what they know is that they're not chattel property, and I'm doing that as an analyst. The difference is what they acknowledge themselves as, and it's so scary because this is the main takeaway. If you say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud, no one's going to stop you. If Tiger Woods says he's Caucasian, no one's going to stop you.
Right.
And if you play yourself into a lesser position within this system or within this matrix, these white folks ain't going to stop you.
Well, so, it's just listen to what I'm saying to you. And again, I'm skipping down this line because we've had this discussion about what we label ourselves, and we've had this discussion about very specific words and what they mean in the law. Me and you, I'm talking about before this, right? Yeah. I am then saying to you, you describe your situation, and I'm saying, why is that not done for outside? So is that let me say this to you. If something happened and somebody that you know got killed by a police officer, do you feel as though what you know of the law is going to change the outcome of that situation, of that person of that cop going to jail?
One of our brothers who got shot on TV recently had a Moor with him. Was that I want to say it was your boy, who was it? They're showing the funeral in DC and they're walking the father. They said the father finally came out. The father was kind of like sickly, handicapped, and he was being escorted, to walk to his son's thing, with a Moor. He had Moors with him.
Okay.
I don't know what the result of that was, but when it happens, they don't promote it. They're not going to. And
no. That's different.
But yeah,
What I'm saying is walking with someone versus like legally going and saying, "Yo, I want to handle this case so that this police officer can get locked up," is what I'm asking about.
What I'm insinuating is that's why they're walking together. Like,
and I haven't heard of that. I haven't heard of any case like that.
You'll see it. Like, that's what I'm saying. They're not talking about the Moor, they're not talking about the fruit.
MG,
they're not talking about
I'm not
by the store. I'm saying
MG, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying, okay, let's establish which one and show me a result of where that person went in and thus changed the result of what happened to the police officer.
It was the dude, you know who it was? It was the dude who got shot in the back and lived. Where was that? He got shot up in the car and he lived. He didn't die.
Oh, fuck. I'm having a brain freeze because it's late. Hold on. Somebody put in the chat.
It's that brother. His dad came through with Moors. So we'll see what happens. I need to find his name and find the results.
He's Muslim, though. His father's, every time his father prays, his father's Muslim. He's
Yeah. Well, a lot of Moors are Muslim. So yeah,
I'm saying it makes. I was saying that to say the connect, like it makes sense to me as to like,
yeah. So I need to research that case and see what happens in terms of justice with them being a support.
Jacob Blake. I'm sorry, I couldn't remember the name.
Jacob Blake. We got to find out what the status of that is because it ain't been in the news since. But there's a lot of brothers out there who can help. But however, like all good things, I'm very careful with them too, because like you said, respect and loyalty goes to the highest bidder sometimes. And not everything is always as it seems to be, especially with certain organizations. So what I'm trying to do is to become erudite in myself and understand it myself, so that no one can run game on me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's going to take me a while. It's probably take me 2 more years, but when I get there, I'm going to get there, and I'm going to try my best to disseminate it with people, and pay more attention. All I'm doing right now is paying attention. And it's kind of like, you know, when you turn your Wi-Fi on, you start picking up all the signals around you, and I'm catching it left and right. And but what I'm saying is, even if we don't use that route, at the very least, for me, it was different because they taught us this in school. They taught us Dred Scott, but they didn't give us the takeaway. The takeaway is that Dred Scott didn't get justice because when he came to court, he claimed to be a slave. Now imagine if he went in there and he claimed to be a man. What would the judge have said?
And this is my discussion where I'm just like, yo, if this information is so, I'm trying to say, if it is exactly this, why is this information not disseminated amongst people, just period?
I don't know why the Moors marketing is so trash. It's scary. They don't promote. They don't, as far as I know, they don't do anything public. It's almost like you have to, like, they're borderline like Freemasons. It's almost like you got to go in, and it's weird to me. Matter of fact, I give you one even better. If the Temple Moors, now not just Moors, but Temple Moors, they have a 3-degree system. They have a 7 heaven school, just like Masons. You go through, like, I can't just go into a temple, like I can visit, but I can't go in there and say, yo, so break down this story of Yakub for me. And they be like, yo, that's like on the 2nd or 3rd degree. What, nigga? Like, you playing with me? Cut it out. So now I got to go to Sunday school, 7 heaven school, and I got to sit there and, like, just like, you know, if you're poor and you're trying to get like food or something, you know, down here what they do, like if you're a single mother or something, you need some free groceries, they make you sit in a 2-hour church service before you can get bread. So Moors do that here. The Christians do that here. Everyone does that. Everyone tries to, like, put you in that goddamn what's that thing? When they try to sell you timeshares in Las Vegas, you know, hey, sit down in this conference. That's what these niggas is doing. All these niggas do the same thing. It's like a click funnel. It's like a click funnel. I'm like, bro, I'm just trying to get the knowledge. I'm not trying to sign up for no mailing list, my nigga. You got me trying to get the Black Friday bundle. I'm talking about freedom and liberation. You're talking about, you know, can I be there on vacation? Like, nah, these two different things. So, you know, the deadliest thing about new information for people, and you say this all the time, you know, at a certain age, you can't pull a person out the matrix. What I think about people have accidentally done, like when we start getting smart or intelligent, we jump out of church real quick, and then we superimpose or transpose church philosophy onto our new shit. And then at the end of the day, we end up finding out that, you know, we just switched who we call Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Switch masters.
We switched masters. So I feel like some of these groups that are uproots like that, what they end up doing, though, I say all that to say, the brothers who really know, like the brothers who are super sharp and can answer all your questions in like a blink, they're not in temples no more. They leave. They leave because they don't want to get in trouble. They don't want no smoke. And it's sad. It happens over and over and over in every organization. Like, you know what? I love y'all. I respect y'all for getting me this far, but I know I'm going to get hurt if I play this game with y'all. And that's what turns so many brothers off.
Or I just ask basic questions, MG, where I'm like, yo, I'm not arguing with your science. I'm just saying, yo, if that's the case, show me what the play is and show me the person that gets away with not paying taxes. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Like, show me that person. Like,
we gotta talk about taxes in a different way, because a lot of people say that, and it's weird because even brothers who go to temple here, when I talk to the Moors here, they be like, the main thing that the younger brothers want is the benefits, but not the science, right? So the tricky thing about quote unquote taxes is that the reason why you're paying taxes or tithes to the king is that you are earning through the corporation, and you're using the corporate identity.
Right.
So what you would have to do, and you have to create a trust. So basically, you will make your real person you'll take your straw man and you'll make your straw man a trust, and then you'll take ownership of your straw man, aka your name. You don't own your name. Your mother signs you over on your birth certificate. If you're a birth certificate, it's going to stay in the form. Right.
That part about it, I've been privy to that science, and I understand that part of it legally.
Yeah. So all they're doing is creating the straw man for you. I mean, that's the whole thing Wizard of Oz is about. So they sign you over, and you can take ownership of that back through a trust. So you end up operating as who you are and create your own national or whatever identity, but you don't leave the corporation. So like, just like a person and corporation means the same thing, you can then take ownership of your person and do business through your person. Therefore, you cannot be taxed. And that's how to get around it. They use UCC codes and all kinds of different.
Yeah, but then your corporation still gets taxed though.
It depends on which entity is doing the business or which entity is cashing the checks. Just like having an LLC or something. Like, are you going to do this to pay rent, or are you going to do this and write it off for lunch or something?
And that's what I'm trying to say to you, is like me asking the question of, okay, like, so say I got 3 different businesses, right? I got, my production shit goes into one thing, my touring shit goes into another thing. You know what I'm saying? I have it split up like that so it doesn't get messed up, right? So then those companies have to pay me, but my company pays taxes and I pay taxes. You understand what I'm saying? I pay taxes on that money twice.
Correct.
Corporation is me.
I got you. You operate.
You cut off.
You have to. It's trying to buffer you out of here. You better, in order to pull that off, when you're operating as a corporation.
Can you see me?
What happened?
Can you see me? Can you see me?
I can see.
Yeah, I'm here. All right, cool. Say it again.
When you're operating through the straw man or the corporation entity, that is claimed. So you're generating taxes on their stocks. So you can't get around that. What you would do with your real entity or your trust is operate as a private entity. Private entities do not have to be taxed. So the brothers, so like when you get really deep on that, like, all right, cool. Like when I'm in Newark, the apartment that my aunt lived in with the Moors up there, all their stuff was private property. The cops couldn't step foot on it, none of that. They registered in their trust and made it a private property. Thus, they're just rocking. But when you ask them, well, how do I set up a private property appropriately outside of a straw man so it's not, you don't accidentally overlap the two, you got to come to Temple, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's behind a paywall. You got to sit in that 2-hour lecture, and you know what I'm saying? You got to sign up for some timeshares, and that's the dirty part about it. Like they're almost kind of like keeping the sauce to themselves, and that's what I'm saying. They kind of evolved into something else, because you would think you could just give that to all your brothers if you claim that all of us are your brothers. But that's what I'm saying. There's some bullshit with all these groups.
Okay.
So I just got to keep reading. It's gonna take me 2 more years, because now I know where it is.
Okay. That's the part of it that I really, really fiend to learn and understand. I've never had somebody explain it as clearly as you just said it.
So you set up a trust, take ownership of your straw man, get familiar with the UCC codes, and stay the fuck away. Stay the fuck away from these federal entities when you're setting up your business, because that's what's fucking us, is that we're opting in. So like we're like, oh man, we messed up because they're not going to correct it for you. You know what I'm saying? Like if they start to figure out that you're figuring it out, they ain't going to help you. They're going to let you hang yourself. You know what I'm saying? They're like, listen, there's white people that do it. This is how I know it's real, right? White people figured out a different way to do this. They're not doing it like us. White people were trying to figure out, how do I get access to the trust account that my straw man was created for, right? And there's this white lady, I wish I remembered her name. She created a trust. She took control of her straw man, and she got access to the bank code that her Social Security was attached to, and started withdrawing funds. When she started doing it, I guess it set off some kind of alert with the feds or whatever, and they took her to court. And they didn't take her to court because she couldn't do it. They took her to court to see if they can get her to slip up. And that bitch beat them. because she knew what she was doing. And
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken, she probably had a black Moorish boyfriend who helped her. So they don't like that though. And what I noticed, I seen one of the Moors talk about it. They said because those cases are being more predominant with white people, and that's the crazy part. The system kind of wiggles with us, but white people, they don't appreciate it. Like that's what I'm saying. Racism is weird to me because when white people try to do sovereignty, they get heavy-handed because of the history, I guess. They're not allowed to be sovereign or claim anything on this estate here because this is not where they're from. And for whatever goofy ass reason, this Supreme Court honors that. It's weird. It blows my mind because I be arguing with niggas like, what the fuck, these niggas don't give a fuck about this paper and this law. They took this shit over, blah 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 blah. Nah, they respect something, and I'm trying to learn everything that they respect. They respect people who are in their appropriate persona. They respect people who actually know what they're talking about when you're in front of them and not using the wrong words. Right. They respect treaties for whatever reason. Actually, I know why. The reason treaties supersede constitutions. So right. So like, if you're aware of the treaty and if you're an appropriate persona and you benefit from said treaties, then what are we talking about? And we're seeing this with Oklahoma, which is exciting. Oklahoma and the government, they did two things. The government said, hey, this half of Oklahoma, aka the end of the Trail of Tears, it actually wasn't our jurisdiction. So all of your people that we locked up in your jurisdiction, we're going to turn back over to you. And I was like, holy shit, it's happening. At least in Oklahoma, it's happening. Like, they're starting to use that language, like jurisprudence. What the fuck is that? Why are they saying that? So Oklahoma, half the state is now going back to the native tribes, and they get to determine what happens to their people that got locked up. Cool. Then 2 weeks later, fucking Trump's people, the environmental cabinet that he got, they went in there and they said, yo, y'all getting your land back for jurisdiction, but we're taking away your guys' ability to tell us no when it comes to the land and fracking for oil. And I realized what they did. They said, y'all can play this cute game with the Native American and the titles and control your own court system. But since you're Native American, you don't control the land. We're going to press you on that and take us to court.
That was my question. See, that becomes my thing, MG, where I was like, yo, okay, because we always get to this point of nationality and saying what we are, and you're not this and you're not that. And I'm like, okay, well then where's your land? Where's your nation? Where is the actual physical place that you're going to be like, oh, okay, this is mine? Because then if that's the case, if you're giving up a whole bunch of other things that you could lay claim to by being a citizen. Is my question correct? Am I saying it right? Am I saying the words right? You get my point, right, of the question?
Yeah, so the way our system is, or the way the corporation is, if you buy a house or a car, you don't own it, which is why you pay taxes on it. So what they end up doing to you is that they sell you certificates of title. Certificates or certifications are just kind of like permission slips saying, hey, you paid for it. This is in your possession. You possess it, but you do not own it. What our people have to do, you pay taxes because you don't own the car or the house. You have a certificate of title. You don't have the title of the house or the car.
I don't pay taxes on my car.
Good. You shouldn't have to. But
that's what I'm trying to ask you. What do you mean? Okay, the house I understand. Yeah, you got to pay taxes on the house. So if a house paid off, no matter what, that's what people like try to get to that point of being like, okay, my house is paid off. All I got to do is worry about the taxes.
No, you won't get to a point where you don't have to worry about the taxes either. There's only two ways to do it. You have to have when you press the banker or the real estate person, you'll see. Just ask them like, "Yo, can I get the allodial title to my house?"
Say the word again.
Allodial title.
I've never heard of that word in my life. Allodial.
Yeah, that's what it's called, and you're not going to hear from that word because once you start talking like that, shit gets weird.
Okay.
We don't get allodial titles. We get certificates of titles. The bank keeps allodial title, and while you're paying your mortgage payments, they sell it to another bank. They're playing game with your estate. Like, you know, if like someone dies and like auntie or someone has to be what is that called? Not a beneficiary, but a executor of the estate.
Yes, yeah.
Well, banks are acting with us who don't have titles now. They're acting as executors. So if you look on your house that you bought or your property that you bought, you're listed as a tenant. You're not listed as an owner. So although you're paying for it and it's your title, you're listed through the bank as a person who's in it.
Okay. But even after the house is paid for is what I'm saying. So where are you saying
they never give you the real title? Yeah.
Okay, but where are you saying that you're a tenant at? Like what paperwork are you saying that? Because it doesn't say that
on the certificate that they give you. Your certificate of title will list you as a tenant and not the owner.
I gotta go look at it.
Yes, and if
I'm in LA. I'm in LA, and all my shit is in Jersey, right? So it's like I gotta in order for me to pull out paperwork that would if I was at the house now, I could have just pulled it out and like.
We want in order to get out of that taxation of our property, like ownership to own our property, we have to get allodial titles. The antonym of allodial is feudal. So if you're in a feudal system, you're considered.
You got a feudal lord. It's not your shit. You just living on somebody's land. I understand what a feudal system is, but I've never heard of a lodial word. I've never heard it.
That's the opposite. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's the opposite of feudal. You have a feudal title. You have feudal titles and feudal operations here on the land, but you're asking me about the land though. So the banks can only operate feudally. They cannot have allodial titles. They cannot have aboriginal titles. Only the nationals of the land can.
Right. So but then I don't know if you answered my question. Is my point. You educated me, but I didn't know if you answered. So I'm asking, where are those examples of those people who have successfully done that?
Private people whose houses probably have those private property signs up front when you're driving through the country.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably a lot of them, because the only way they could put that sign up if it's indeed private property, and that means they have a allodial title to the land. If they're just serfs, or they call it fiefs, F-I-E-F, fiefs. If you're under a feudal system and you're a fief, they can't have that shit. They can't do.
I've heard of that before.
So the same thing with the land. Like when you say, hey, I want to buy land and I want to build my house, you got to make sure when you buy your land, you're getting the allodial title to the land. And here's the craziest thing. Technically speaking, if your ancestors are from this land before a certain date, you don't have to pay for it. So you can't pay for it. You can't buy what's yours.
Yeah, but if you again, let's be very clear as to what I'm saying. Like it sounds good, right? Yeah. But then if you have let's say an invading army or whatever it is, like, where are you gonna go and plot out your piece of space and say this is mine by right? Where are you gonna do that at?
I think that's where the magic is. I don't think they're really pressing us about living on our parents' land like that.
What do you mean?
Why do we? Because I'm trying to figure out where we get this narrative from. That
I'm asking a specific question that let's say I come to North Carolina, my lineage is from there, right?
Yeah.
What piece of land can I walk around and go, yo, this is mine?
Go further back in what the system is, like with feudal and stuff. Think about it.
When you say go back to further than what the system is, I'm saying I'm
telling you selling you land because I have to give you this information so it makes sense. Because
walk me through it. I'm saying if you got to go from A to B, walk me through it. But you get the gist of my question. You're saying I don't even need to buy it, and I'm telling you directly that my grandfather was from North Carolina, and it sounds great. But in what realities do I walk around and go, yo, this is mine, without paying for it?
The question is, what paperwork do I have to provide to prove that it's mine?
Okay. And I'm telling you, I don't have any.
Yeah. That is part of the
conundrum.
It's not even a conundrum. It's let me explain it. Let me explain this, and then remind me to get back to that.
Yeah, let me shut up and teach. Go ahead.
So this is how this works on paper, right? On paper, the banks, they did a weird thing in 1871. 1871 is when this happened in particular, when they set up the federal acts of 1871, or Act of Congress 1871, 1861, and they renewed it around early teens of 1900s and in 1922, and like they always renew this policy. But what you're really dealing with in operating under quote unquote, you hear America's a corporation, it literally is, and what they're doing is they are executors of the estate. The estate is called the United States. They just dropped the E. These are United States. Your government cannot and does not, by any shape or fashion, own the land. They never did.
Right.
They're
right.
just executors. As executors of the state, they're able to create contracts with banks, and those banks then sell contracts and certificates to you,
right,
citizens. But if this is your estate and you claim your estate, what the bank is supposed to do is look for you. Matter of fact, we're not even supposed to fix this. The banks are supposed to fix this. There's a term for it, but they're not. And of course, we know why they're not. But if you come back to wherever your ancestors' land or family is, matter of fact, it's not even a specific location. It's the whole estate, by the way. It's not just North Carolina. It's the whole thing. But when I'm going to uncrack that. I'm going to crack that code. I'm going to keep going down that rabbit hole. But what I'm saying is, because they're executors of the state, so I get you where they fuck themselves. You know when you say your brother wrote that book about the code lock?
Mm-hmm.
When they passed the Act of 1871 to take control of our estates, of our ancestors, they put themselves in the positions of lenders, like creditors, right? Where they fucked themselves because they took that position, because they signed it over, and they created birth certificate systems and made us minorities so they can manage our estates. Where they fucked up is now they cannot be beneficiaries. You cannot then lend and then receive, right? So they have no mechanism in order to receive anything from this estate because they signed on a dotted line to make themselves the lenders. They cannot violate that or they'll be in error and they'll probably get killed. So with the game that they're playing, because they became beneficiaries of our estates or our ancestors' estate, is that as long as we give them permission to manage it, they will, until until an heir comes up and goes, "Hey, thanks, but I'll take it over from here." And none of us do that. Certain people do.
No. MG, let me stop there. And I was trying. This is for my clarity. When you say no one does that, and I'm saying like not theoretically, by law, if I'm using this, what you're talking about,
yeah.
Let's say however many of us, because one of the things that one of my other Moorish brothers says to me is like, Moors is not a group.
Right.
You are more. He'll say the same thing that you say to me all the time, right? Things that people put in this chat, and I'm like, you realize MG has said this to me a million times, right? Where it's just like, yo, Moors are not a group, or you are more whether or not you realize it or not. Like you said that to me before. You know what I'm saying? So say, however, 1,000 people in North Carolina go, yo, I'm executing this thing, or I'm, using my right to do this thing. Who gets to divide up what land is my point. The very practical thing of who gets to build a house on what land. Not the theory of it, but like in practice.
You mean once we all start doing it, how do we negotiate it amongst ourselves?
Yeah, like this, like I want that piece of land.
Correct. I don't know where the deed properties are. I'm not sure what registry we need to look up to do that yet. I'm going to get there. I'm hoping to find a brother that has done it. I've met Moors that have done it.
You just hit my point. I don't know nobody that's ever done it.
No. What I'm saying is I didn't sit in Temple for 2 hours to buy the fucking timeshares yet. That's not part of the free email you get.
And I also don't know because of the fact that I've tried to do it, right? Not with the my ancestry, you know what I'm saying? Not with the percentages, not the swab thing and like, yo, you're this percent. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a direct thing of I can't go past slavery in North Carolina to know who, you know what I'm saying? It stops with my great grandfather.
It's at the end of the 1800s, yeah.
That's the furthest I can go is with my great grandfather. I don't know my great grandfather name. I've tried.
They did it during Reconstruction, 1871. 1871 is the dead end.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to. That's exactly the time period makes sense when I tell you my grandfather was born in 1919. You know what I'm saying? And my great grandfather, I have no idea what year he was born in.
Check this out though. The reason why I think it's very simple actually. The reason why they can't do nothing about it because with birthrights and land rights, you can't sell them or give them away.
Right.
That's why they're operating as a corporation and colony. They didn't take over the land of America. They never could and they never will.
Right. I get that part. I'm also, I guess, leaning towards the thing of as much as that could be legal, that being backed up with somebody saying, yo, no, this is my piece of land and I'm doing this. You know what I'm saying?
Check this out.
Versus somebody sending. At some point, you're going to get to a point where it's like, okay, if you start bucking so much, and I'm aware of this, and I'm not saying, please not saying I'm scared or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm aware of it to say like, yo, I know what that fight is. I've been in DC when they've called martial law before, and tanks. The military is on my street when I lived on Rock Creek Church Road. Set up, tanks, lights at night, everything. Martial law was called, and DC not having it because DC not a state. Right? DC is a district.
That was the act of 1871 is when they did that. Yep.
Yeah. And I'm saying practically. You understand the nature of my question? I'm saying, yeah, it sounds good, but how do we put this into practice? Is the question.
I'm going to knock the trees down of the people who do it already, and more so not how to do it. I know how to do it in theory. I want to know how they protect themselves long term. That's what you're really asking. It's one thing to buy a Lodial title and go to a bank and show them your paperwork and because the thing about nationality and stuff, you don't get it. You are it. You claim it. Like, it's weird. It's almost like the system is so odd to me that you would think that white people could just do it because they're privy to certain information. But there's a checks and balance systems with the treaties and the Supreme Court that prevents them from doing it. Matter of fact, check out Bolivia. I think Bolivia in this last week. All the white people that expatriated, there was like 6,000 of them went to Bolivia over the past 10 years or so. They just kicked them all out. So they denied their United States citizenship to expatriate, and now the South American country is kicking them out of their land. So now they're stateless. Our problem and our lack of justice comes from the fact that we're claiming a status that makes us stateless. By default, the reason why white people aren't allying with us is because if we figure this all out, they are stateless by default. They don't belong here. So they're never going to fix this for us. They're never going to help us.
I'm a very realistic, like, common sense person, right? So let's say we get to and it was amazing to me, like, sometimes how much people don't know, or I assume that people know the same things I know. Yeah. So, like, when the anniversary of Tulsa came up, right?
Yeah.
And like, it's something that I had known about, and I was like, how do y'all not know Black Wall Street? So y'all been walking around talking about Gaines, company without even knowing why he named it Black Wall Street, right? People had no concept of Tulsa. And I'm bringing up Tulsa from a standpoint of, okay, let's look at an example of when you set up a whole place, and it's like, at the end of the day, then we just gonna come in here and start murking everybody and dropping bombs on this shit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fucked up.
And are you watching Lovecraft Country?
Yeah.
Yeah. So at least in that, like, I liked it. I liked the way it was Tulsa was presented in The Watchmen. You know what I'm saying? Because it's already, like, in The Watchmen, it was already determined if you were from Tulsa. Like, when she went in with the acorn and, like, all that other shit, it was like, yo, reparations wasn't even a conversation. It had already been done, and said, okay, if you can prove that you are of the lineage of somebody from here, you automatically get this shit, right?
Yes.
That's what the acorn and the tree and what she was doing all
Yeah,
right.
the little hologram.
The reason I brought up Lovecraft Country is because at least in that one, we see people bucking back.
Yeah.
Right? The last couple episodes we saw where like we saw people, I don't want to give spoilers away for people that's watching and ain't seen it, but at least we see the bucking back. Like, now, we wasn't just sitting here, we start shooting back, but it's just like, yo, we're one town versus a whole bunch of people. So the reality of the situation is, you could talk all this legal shit all you want. If somebody come with the gun, what are you doing? And I'm saying that the gun is the military.
I don't think they own it like that for whatever reason. I don't feel like the military is on it like that. I don't think it's a threat.
Bro, if the government turned it on, the military is on it. It's an agent. It's an arm of the government.
You might need more historical context. For instance, June 15th, Juneteenth. Juneteenth was about American Indians.
Yes.
So why are Black people adopting it as their holiday?
Because we were told that. You understand what I'm saying?
No. What I'm saying is that's important. That's important for us to dig into the real Juneteenth and understand that they federalized it finally, or Trump tried to do that, right? But they federalized an American Indian holiday that's about us. Like, what I'm saying, Goo? This ain't this is only a game played against us. They know already. They know who we are already. We don't have to prove anything.
I think you're saying my point, but I'm taking the point a step further to where I'm saying, let's say we rest on the law, right? And we're saying, okay, we get all this stuff legally, da 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 da. Then it's just like, okay, well then we have I'm giving you Tulsa as an example of when somebody said, yo, this is us. We over here, we building our own thing, we doing whatever it is that we doing, right?
They bombed Tulsa because of their bank.
Yeah, my point exactly. Yeah. My point exactly. You know what I'm saying? And there's also what's it called? I have it bookmarked. It's the Negro Journal. Shoot. I can't. I'm trying to think. The Journal of Negro History. Right. If you read a lot, it's at University of Columbia, right? It's the University of Columbia Press. It's this thing right here, right?
Okay.
Journal of Negro History. And this is like a really dope thing that will give you like from 1910, you know, all these articles and all these things and writings about like, you know, direct writings about slaves and all the different things that was going on at the time. It talks about the expansion from people from being in the South to how they end up in, you know, Idaho, how they end up in Ohio, how they end up and build all these different communities, right? That we had, and all of them get taken down in this same way.
Yeah, that was after you find out the dates. If it's after Lincoln died, it makes sense. That's when this corporation got co-opted. So basically, they're so slick, Guru. Like, it'll make your head spin on how they did this. And once we figure out how they did this, it's over. So check this out.
Mm-hmm.
The quote unquote American colonies, 13 colonies of 1775, up until when Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. That group of people in that theoretical government mentally,
mm-hmm.
This government has pretended to be that, and they're not.
Right. That part I get.
Check this out.
Okay.
When they co-opted it after they took out Lincoln, and they started playing their games when they made federal government in 1871, they code locked themselves because they cloned they created a disk partition and ran out of hard drive space by doing that. They had a 500 gigabyte drive.
That's a great analogy.
And they copied 250 and 250, and they're talking about now we need more room to do more new stuff, but we code locked ourselves by doing it that way.
Right.
The people that were harming the agreements and treaties that we have
mm-hmm.
are the pirates that killed Lincoln.
Right. Yeah.
What you're saying is, but check this out. What you're saying is, they didn't respect us enough not to bomb Tulsa. So what are we talking about? What I'm saying is, we're ignorant to the fact of the agreements and treaties prior to them doing that. And today, fast forward, a lot of things have been put into place to allow us to get this stuff back. It's just not advertised. Obama, I give Obama grief because I'm like, Obama ain't do nothing for quote unquote black people, but I'm wrong. I'm epically wrong. He did the Rights to Indigenous People Act. He fixed it legally for us.
Okay.
And that's why Waka be like, he don't say more, he don't say Indian, he says indigenous, because that's the law that Obama passed. And that wasn't from Obama, by the way. That was reaction to the Pope, to the church. The church was saying, yo, give these people their shit back. Mm-hmm. And Obama said, fuck it, I'll sign this legislation. And Rahm Emanuel of Chicago, one of Obama's pots and pans, he signed the Moorish Declaration of Chicago. Like, it all happened. It just wasn't presented to us as like, this is your shit, by the way. Wink, wink, honk, honk. No one did that. So that's
hilarious. That's a hilarious side note to me that the church is saying give people their shit back. But go ahead.
Oh, the Pope in particular. There's look for the Pope's letter to Obama.
That's hilarious.
I don't know why he has a change of heart though.
No. I'm saying for him to even say anything about give people their shit back. Come on, fam. Like,
I'm saying what you're saying. I'm saying what happened there? What are we talking about? Why now? Why y'all trying to? and then when you say that to Obama, because there's a letter to Obama Pope, I think it was 2014. When you say that, why isn't this headline news? Why isn't this like the celebration and release that our people deserve? Bro, it's sick, bro. Like there's another game being played still. Like there's people who look like us who benefit from the game that was put on top of the game, is what I'm saying. And it's what I'm cautious of and what I'm nervous about. Because this should have been this ain't up to the Moors. This is everyone who knows how to read, who's in politics, who's playing these games.
I get what you're saying, and I'm being quiet because I want to retain the information, but I also feel as though in your explanation you're still not addressing the very blatant elephant that I put in the room, where I'm like, it's gonna get to a point where it's like, man, fuck all that legal shit. I'm killing all of y'all. Period.
Versus what?
I'm saying versus. It's not a versus. It's just like, okay, if you're gonna crack open, I'm trying to get to the point of cracking open this nut of saying, okay, where is the actual land? What do you get to do, and how do you get to exist inside of the United States with that land, having to protect that land, and like not pay taxes, not have to. You just like, it's mine.
We have to finish reading the treaties to hold them to that, and what makes them honor that is the way that United States honors it. Whenever we read United Nations internationally, go ahead.
You realize how many treaties we break across the world, right? That we don't care. That when it has to do with what we want.
You're saying you need enforcement. I'm with you. You need someone to enforce it.
Yes. Because the paperwork don't matter. The United States is getting busy raising hell across the whole world. They don't care. We don't care about a tree. It looks good, but when we want some shit done, we just go do it.
We will need to enforce our own treaties fundamentally, but our help would come from us in international relations. We can't deal with China internationally. Matter of fact, you know how like China gave Akon a credit line for Akon City?
Mm-hmm.
It's because he has a nationality. He has a base. Once we get our base, let's say like we go to North Carolina and be like, oh, this is all the land that the federal government couldn't claim because it wasn't theirs, and we find out what that map looks like, and we go, oh,
Are you saying Akon's thing came from him being from Africa? Like he's claiming his African heritage is what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
That's why he's able to use the credit, and you know he can put in his name because of that. He's a national of where they're doing it. If Akon was not,
I was being clear. I was being clear.
Yeah. He didn't just do it. He didn't do it anywhere. He did it where his family is. So
right.
So me and you, if we establish our nationality correctly and get the land that the federal government just left untouched. Did you notice when you look at the maps and the highways and stuff, it don't cover the whole land.
Right.
Like it's kind of like very bare, and they'd be like population control. Like, nah, it's population based on that hard drive space you got left. You ain't slick. But once we start taking that land and we go, okay, now I want to get into an international treaty, and me and you want to get a credit line from China. That's what we would have to do. We would have to make deals behind America's back. Now, here's the funny part. That's what Nation of Islam was doing with Gaddafi.
I was about to ask you, is it possible because of what Gaddafi tried to do with the minister and they stopped that?
Correct. But what was their nationality?
Okay.
You're saying you can't. That's why these things are tricky. You're Nation of Islam, but Islam doesn't have a treaty with the land that you're trying to build on. They can do private property. They can do titles from the government, but they outside of those federal agreements, they're just like Native Americans in this regard.
I'm throwing this out there to say, like, okay, what's to say a Native American person can't come and be like, nah, that's not really your land. This is really my land, and you're really from another place. So I really don't know where that place. Akon has some. My kids have something over me because their mother is directly from Nigeria.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that didn't like that is their lineage, their bloodline. Not like she came here way later in her life.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So they have a direct lineage. I kept trying to explain to you, I don't know past my great grandfather who I am.
There's not that many answers. That's why this place wasn't wide open like that. If your great grandfather were here, we know who they are and we know what happened, and we ran the jug on them. It's cool. That's why they're not going to press us on that. They're not going to They know who we are. Like they're being cute out here. You don't have to worry. You don't have to worry so much about if you can get it to 1871. You are those people. Like there was nobody else in that date at that time during that government. There was no one else. There's too many wars and too many fighting. It wasn't what they advertised it as. This new pirate government at 1871 told a new lie based on the real American history. So they teach us the old American history and apply it to the current government, and they're not the same entity. They're two different demons. We're confused by that, and they did that. Rockefeller did that. That's what I'm saying. I want to meet the boss. Like Rockefeller did that. The Rockefeller Board of Education or General Board of Education did that, 1912 or something like shit like that. And matter of fact, they did it through the WPA programs where they were getting our people, like our young people from our tribes who had moved out, was forced to move out once they gave the quote unquote Native Americans land, and we got kicked out of our own shit. We got indoctrinated, went into churches, went into the schools, and got paid to work in these factories. And all my ancestors died early. Like they died 30 in them coal mines. So they didn't even get old enough and wise enough to pass nothing down. They're like, boom, our parents lost our land or got killed. We went into these concentration camps, went into these work programs and these boarding schools. We're out of this indoctrination system. I'm just going to buy a house and take care of my wife. And then boom, I die of a disease or a vaccine or some shit. Like they sniped that whole 1920s real quick for us. Like we don't have too many ancestors that lived and thrived past a certain age from that 1900 to 1920. It's almost like a lost generation. And that's all the time that we need.
What about the again, I'm just asking these random questions to try to get clarity.
Yeah.
So me and you, right? If I was to just look at me and you, I would bet that there's some Native American in us, right?
Yeah.
Like I would just bet that. So does that negate part of that? Because now we're going to start to get into the mixture of people because we live in 2020 and all of us have been mixed with a bunch of everything.
They can't dispute it. You claim it. Your government can't tell you what you are. That's what I'm confused about too. Anyone can claim their nationality. That's part of the indigenous rights. You have the right to claim your nationality. There is no check for that. You just claim it. Now, when you move forward, you need to know what you're doing. And we're convoluting who we are as American Indians, or what they're calling Indians or American Indians or American Moors, with Native Americans. Native Americans is a different term, which is why the federal government is involved with them. These are people who were enslaved and white, who were freed, and then were given land as part of their emancipation. The 40 acres and a mule that we think is our story is the white slave story. And those reservations is their 40 acres and a mule.
Slow down. So you're saying that original Native Americans, you consider them white?
No, the word, I'm using the lexicon. Native American just means born here, but you're a stranger. You're from somewhere else, but you're born here. So like the Europeans that came here were born here, their children are Native Americans. It doesn't mean Indian or Aboriginal or indigenous. It just means after the black people, now there's white people. They're Native Americans.
Okay, so in semantically, you're saying that who we call Native Americans are not Native Americans, they're Indians, and you're saying that white people who came over here from another country are the actual Native Americans.
They are called native.
Semantically.
No, because the native part is a prefix. We're not Native Americans. We're Americans. When you look up the semantics of American, it's the copper-colored Indians that was found here by Europeans. We're the copper-colored Americans.
Okay, so without us getting into the are we African argument, right? Because that's not what we are right now. I'm saying the mixture of people who were taken from that continent, brought to this land as slaves, right? They stopped in the Caribbean.
They're Native American.
Just stop in the Caribbean first, break them down, bring slaves to the go ahead, say it again.
They're white.
What do you mean they're?
The slaves that they brought to the Caribbean were white and mixed with the Aboriginals and created and J. Cole.
No, I'm talking about me. I'm talking about me, my people.
I want to do this one more time, Bruce.
Okay, yeah, because I don't understand. So please, I'm asking you a very simple question about at a certain time there is a transatlantic slave trade, correct?
Of white people.
So no black people was bought from Africa?
Check this out. The reason why they're Native Americans and the reason why there's so many light-skinned people don't have listen, the bullshit that our ancestors was on, they were buying white women. So who was getting enslaved when they were doing that? Because you bring a foreigner over here, and what the Catholic Church was doing, and whatever these dirty Moors were doing, what they were saying was that we can have perpetual slavery or servitude if we have children with white women, because white women don't own land. Therefore, their kids don't have Aboriginal titles. They don't have no claim to nationality. So the black people in slavery are the half-breeds of the white women, and then the half-breeds of the half-breeds. So when we see the light-skinned people, that's why they use the term Negro. They use Negro for mixed people. It wasn't for dark-skinned people or black people. It was for people who were passing black or look like, are you black or are you white? No, you're Negro. And it denotes slave not because of the black slave, because of the white slave.
I get that, MG, and that's great information.
Okay.
I'm also saying to you that regardless of if the numbers are 12 million or whatever, right?
Yeah.
There are people that were captured, sold into slavery.
You're trying to figure out about the quote unquote dark-skinned prisoners of war that may have fought or operated.
I'm trying to get to the point of the final point of when we're talking about nationality, when we're talking about us being mixed with a bunch of different things at this point. None of us are pure, whatever it was that we were. We're all mixed with something different. Whether or not that's through rape, whether or not that's through whatever it was, right? I'm not saying, you know what I'm saying? And just in general, the time period that we live in, right? It's 2020. So people have been mixing with each other for a minute now, right? So it's the same thing as like, when we was having this ADOS discussion, right? And I was like, well, where do you put my kids? Because I'm, you know what I'm saying, a descendant of that, but their mother is from Nigeria, directly. Not like no slavery, no nothing. She's directly from Nigeria. You know what I'm saying?
So they would be under treaties. There's treaties for that. Because the game's sicker than that. The game is a little bit sicker than that, Guru. I'm just talking about 1871. I'll go further back for you.
Okay.
Technically speaking, America is West Africa.
Yeah, not now though.
Well, it's West Africa.
You know how long ago that was though?
What I'm saying is within how these treaties are written, when they're talking about West Africa, like in that context, or they call it Al-Marak Al-Akasa, the land of the far west, in its relationship to Africa. And I don't know how long ago it started to drift and split apart. I know in terms of land and treaty and birthright, we're all African in that respect, but we wouldn't have been called African. Africa wasn't the word for that. It was a different word for that. So
sometimes that's what gets me upset too when we having these arguments, because yes, I understand why you are so specific with the specific some words and semantics of the words and the root of the word, right? And what that actually means. But when I say what a landmass is called now,
yes,
doesn't mean that it was called that throughout the history, right? Exactly. It wasn't always called that. We know that part. I'm just referring to what it is now. Like, I don't want to get into a metaphysical discussion on is a bird only because we call it a bird. That's not what we talk about. A fucking bird. So
technically speaking, today, if we talk about West Africa or Northwest Africa, that's America.
All right.
So if they're West African and they're half West African and half Northwest African, they're 100% African.
Yeah. Okay, I get that point. I'm trying to get to the point of who was entitled to what, because we've mixed so many things together, I guess is the best way for me.
That was the objective. The objective was to mix it up. But it's just a claim. If they claim you on your side, they're entitled to whatever they get from you on your side and your grandfathers.
Right.
There's no beef in that. As a matter of fact, there's so few of us that there's too much land for us to beef about that yet. The game is for us not to figure that out, because everyone else that we see with houses and nice properties, we believe they own the land and the property, and all they own is the title. That is the real political game that's being played. That is when quote unquote Caucasians become stateless, That's why they're doing Antifa right now. The thing that Hitler did to Germany, he nationalized Germany, and then that caused a bunch of people to be stateless. And because they're stateless, they can go to the POW camps. White people are freaking out here in Portland and everything and doing these autonomous zones because if Trump nationalizes whatever the fuck, everyone who's stateless is going to these acclaimed FEMA camps. And they ain't talking about us. They're talking about them.
Right. I get what you're saying.
The banks are turning on Caucasians. That's the real drip. That's the real scary part.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm also trying to get to a point that, like, okay, especially if you get to those sort of things, that makes people even faster to go to war.
Yeah.
So the thing that I've been reiterating about, like, okay, at a certain point they're gonna be like, man, fuck that piece of paper.
Yeah.
I'm going to war. That's my point. So it's like we do these legal claims, and I'm like, that's great. And I don't want to disrespect it in terms of, I was gonna say the word cute, like, oh, that's cute. I'm not disrespecting it because I'm asking for the information from you, but I'm also saying to myself, I'm like, okay, that's gonna only get me to a certain point, and then after a certain point, I know how wicked certain people are. So then it's gonna get to a point where it's like, you know what? Fuck that.
Congress of 1871, right? That paradigm, that particular government that co-opted everything, the coup d'etat. They made an agreement to stay in control or as executives of the state over the minorities, right? What they did was they created the T-bonds. And that sounds like something they would have created with Britain, or that's probably why we still have a Queen of England. They created the T-bond system. That metamorphosized into the World Bank. And what would happen is the other international powers or countries, Prussia, Tartaria, Russia, China, with all their transformations, what they would do on the World Bank stock, they would bet on America's T-bonds. It turned into marriage certificates towards the end of the 1800s. Marriages weren't shit. They'll make more money off of claiming the property of these citizens, which were the births. So they started doing birth certificates. So they went through they transmuted their bonds and their certificates to create value, aka national debt, with this new government, not the original American government, the new one.
Right.
And what finally happened, which is why you always get these rumors of going to war with China, is that internationally, these countries stopped buying America's T-bonds. Now, they're calling on the debt because America was borrowing its access and its estate, and because remember I told you they're not beneficiaries. Right. America cannot receive gold, or I'm sorry, not America. The white colonialists or the pilgrims cannot receive payment because they put themselves in positions of creditors. So they can't receive benefits for being American because they're not American. They can't receive benefits for a state because they're not allodial. They fucked up is what I'm saying. China is putting pressure on them right now. That war that you're talking about is not with us. They're going to war anyway, dude. This is over. Like,
oh yeah, no. That part I know about, bro. I'm saying that's a pattern we always do, right? Like we will definitely fight in that, in terms of like, oh, we owe you money, fuck you. We just gonna, you know what I mean? Whatever. I'm saying it more for us. I understand how much China owns us. I understand what you are saying. I am asking about, like, once we do that and we go through all this trouble, is there even a system in place for us? Like, I don't understand what land I would claim, and I don't understand how I would keep that land inside of this government. That's what's confusing to me.
It'd be parallel. It wouldn't be inside. It wouldn't be inside the corporation United States envelope.
So you're talking about what damn, what's the spot that Talib got into the fight in shit? It's my favorite place to go smoke weed over in Europe. He got into a fight in there. It's this one spot in it's not in Sweden. Fuck, man. It's where I did my III headphones. Copenhagen.
Okay.
There's this spot in Copenhagen, right? It's like where everybody goes to smoke weed, and it's literally considered a different country inside of Copenhagen.
Yes.
Or is it Amsterdam? Somebody said no, not Amsterdam. It can't be Amsterdam. Copenhagen. But that's neither here nor there. My point is that's what you're saying. You want to be a complete different nation inside of this nation.
No. You want to be American.
Oh,
so
okay. So I'm using the right word so that we can get to the point of what I'm actually saying.
Hold on. I want to show you the game that they're playing, not the game we're playing. Let's check out the game they're playing. Act of 1871, Washington, D.C., what you're talking about, that little district, that 50-mile radius, is the only thing that is the United States government. The rest of this land is the estate of our ancestors.
Right.
I get it. What I'm saying is, when you claim your nationality, you then put yourself in treaty with the land. You don't do anything different. When they approach you and press you,
what I'm talking about is that thing existing in this land. I don't care if it's in North Carolina, what we now call modern day North Carolina. I don't care about the word cement. I do, but I'm saying once that is established, you think that the United States government is going to be at peace with those little pockets of those things happening without going to war with them?
Yeah, I just watched a documentary about a white person that did it recently in Nevada somewhere. They do.
I don't think so.
They do it. They do it individually. I suspect way more people do it.
No. Individually, I'm talking about, but when you have it as a collective, like I'm not.
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. You're saying once we wake enough people up and more people start doing it, and we bring attention and heat to it, like we always fucking do.
Yes.
What the fuck are they going to do in retaliation?
Yes, that's.
I don't.
Thank you. So that we're not arguing words and semantics and all that other stuff. Like, do you really think that that's going to happen? That's possible?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm confident that we're here at this particular dispensation to finally let the Pirates of the Caribbean go.
What's the name of the documentary again? What's the name of the documentary?
Which one?
You just said one and I didn't write it down. You said
what is that white boy, man? He's like, he declared to be the president or the CEO of goddamn Nevada or something. It was in my Discord. I'm gonna have to go through my Discord.
If you don't worry. If you I'm gonna say just text it to me later. All right, cool.
My brother Malachi sent it to us. But yeah, that shit was funny too. Cause I said to him, because he said he had the same problem. He had a little postal board and everything. He showed how you do it, right? And the reason why he can do it is because it was uncontested. If one of us went there and contested him, he would have to pay us.
Okay, I get the point. I get the point. Yeah, I get the point. I get the point of what you're saying. It's almost like an auction where nobody's claiming nothing, so you just get to get it.
Yes. Yeah. And the dirty part is the banks were supposed to give it back to us already. They know who the estate, they know who the kids are because they registered us on censuses and birth certificates and everything.
Right.
They're playing with us.
But it's the same. It's the same way as like MG. It's the same way when somebody points out, like I do this all the time, right? Where I'm like, yo, our money ain't really worth what it's supposed to be worth, right? Our money's supposed to be backed by gold. We know that that's not the case no more. We print money to control inflation and deflation, so the value of the money is really made up. Somebody's just making up how much this is worth, right? We get that, right?
Yes.
We understand that. We still use the money is my point.
So the
you get what I'm saying? As you could be as woke as you want to about what that actual value is. You still are using that monetary system every day.
Which is why they're pushing cryptos, because the rest of the world is not using our fake money no more.
It's still you still use it though.
No, not us. The problem that us has, the reason why we have a coin shortage, is because they can't pay debt with it. Debt can only be paid with gold.
No, that part I know about.
I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about at the top of the ladder.
You're skipping my point. The point that I'm trying. Sometimes it's like I'm trying to make this point and you dropping. But I appreciate the bombs, but I'm saying it to the degree of like, this is like the point I'm trying to make, where it's like, yeah, you know the law, but how do you use that? The same way we know the money is bullshit, but we still use it because we're in the system. Is the point that I'm trying to get to. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like, okay, just knowing like this money's supposed to be backed up by gold, we all know that. But guess what? It's not. And we still fucking use it.
You know what? You know what's funny? You know who I think I figured it out and probably can answer this question for you? Kanye.
Oh God, please don't bring him in my conversation.
Listen to me. Listen, I'm Mr. Words Connect, and I every once in a while I get to listen to his words. I saw him in front of Nick Cannon. I saw him talk to who he'd been talking to, and I think that's what he did in Wyoming. I think he did it.
Oh, just to get his own land in Wyoming.
Mm-hmm. I think that's exactly what he did.
I don't know. I could ask.
Shake some tree branches somewhere.
Yeah, and I can ask and find out. I just seen a thing where Dame was out there. I think he just bought some shit out there too.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know what obviously I don't know, you know what I mean, Kanye's business. I don't know what the logistics are, but that would be interesting.
Mind you, America only had colonies, 13 colonies. The rest of this was Mexico. Wyoming is Mexico.
Right.
Their time's up, Goo. That's all.
Yeah, but you can change time, bro, is what I'm trying to tell you.
Oh, for me and you in this